Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for episode 168 of the MeepleCore Gaming Podcast. I am your host, Tim Jennette, the Metal Meeple, and I'm joined by my co-hosts,
George Breden,
James Fitzgerald,
Breden, Jennette.
GenCon 2026, we survived. We survived 4 days of hundreds of games, too much money spent, endless walking, questionable sleep, and enough cardboard to build a small house. We're breaking down everything. The games we played, the events we did, the coolest stuff we seen, and the absolute chaos that we got to enjoy. This is our GenCon 2026 recap. So gather your game group, grab your dice, crank the meeples to 11, and let the cardboard adventures begin. Enjoy the show! Random question. Not really super random. I actually thought about this one. What is your favorite thing about a gaming convention? Anybody can start. Just kidding. I will. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, I was gonna say I mainly playing games with friends and strangers, but lately though it's been demoing games and listening to the publishers and people that created the games.
Yeah, like panels and stuff, or just
not panels, just like one-on-one. Yeah, walking up booths or scheduling demos and stuff like that. Like at Origins, Capcom had their own little area for demoing. So that was pretty fun going demoing the new games that were coming out for Gen Con and stuff like that. But mine is mainly just playing games. So cool. It's kind of lame.
I agree. No, those are great reasons. Honestly, I'm gonna have to say, for me, it's probably the cult of the new. It's finding the new stuff. It's getting to talk with the people that make the new stuff. And yeah, I go for the shopping. I really do.
Fair enough.
It's fair. So for me, it's now a little different. Last Gen Con was a couple weeks after I started my channel. Now going forward, for me, it's been really fun to just meet all these people that I actually will only talk to generally in person at the cons. Different content creators, publishers, creators, artists. I spend a lot of time in the artist row talking to artists about different techniques and ideas and all this stuff. And for me, that is one of the highlights. It's just meeting all these people, different nationalities, different backgrounds, but we're all there for the same reason. So that for me is one of my favorite parts about the conventions.
For me, like James said, playing games, but here's the reality. I don't like playing games with people. Like I like playing games with people I know, right? I'm fine with playing games with people that are mutual friends or people that I know that are adjacent to, maybe they know me from reviews or podcasts or whatever, or I know them or whatever. But if it's just like random people jumping down the table, that's not my favorite thing. I actually avoid it like the plague. And then it's no offense to anyone else. It's just, I like to play the game, not necessarily to socialize with new people, which sounds weird, but that is how I am. So playing games isn't my favorite thing at conventions, although I do play a lot of games at conventions. My favorite thing being a treasure hunter are the deals. Like I like the cult and the new stuff. It's fine. But man, I love going through and seeing, like even at this Gen Con, you see games they have that are a few years old, $10. Bam. I buy it. Or going into the consignment stores or the math trades or the flea markets. Those things are fantastic. I mean, thousands of games come out every year, and this is a great place that people come to dump it off. And one person's trash is my treasure. So
a good example is you found the Dream Home thing.
Oh yeah, well I will get into that, but yeah, in the math trade there's a table and they put promos on it, and one of them was the this Pets expansion promo for Dream Home. So I mean, it's kind of similar. That's more of a promo than it is an actual game, like full game or whatever. But yeah, dude, good stuff.
It could be a promo. It could be an expansion. Yeah, you find the stuff that you're missing. Absolutely.
Yeah, stuff that you're missing, or expansions to games that are long gone. And you find an expansion, it's really cheap, because how are they going to sell it, right? The only people that can buy it are the people who have the game. So that's my favorite thing is the deals and the used stuff.
I mean,
or it doesn't have to be used. It could be, I guess, in shrink, but
I agree with you on the playing, because I mainly do. I mean, our local con, I'm always friends. I mean, there are some randos in there every now and then, and I've had bad experiences with them. But with people I know, it's a lot easier and more fun. Like Origins, last one I played a lot of with a friend of mine, and my biggest memories and cherished memories from old cons from older with friends, playing with friends. Not the I have more complaints about strangers than with friends. I can tell we could have a whole podcast on me complaining about certain people I ran into at the cons, but we want to be positive here.
It's friends that you don't get to see all the time. Like Brian said, you all come together for this event. That's the best thing, is seeing the friends that live across the country, right? And you see them once or twice a year, and it's because of the conventions that you do. That's the best thing. And having the time with those friends to play the games that you sometimes have a hard time having time to play. Getting to play the games you want to play with the friends that you want to play games with. That's the best thing.
Yeah, that's a very valid point. I agree with that too, because there are people that I only see at conventions because it's just not going to work out for me to drive 3 states away to see them on any other occasion, especially having kids and they have a family. So,
especially for you guys, because you guys have been around the hobby for a really long time. You have a lot of connections, different people know. Mine is all recent. So for me, I'm kind of still building all of those relationships and everything. And for me, that's really fun.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool.
Well, some people don't think big conventions are cool. So before we talk about GenCon, we've talked about it before. Do people like small cons or big cons and stuff? I really debated on responding to this at some point. But have you seen this Gaming Caravan YouTube channel? There's a video that he put out called "The Harsh Truth About GenCon."
Is this the thing you were talking to me about that we didn't go into detail on?
We didn't go into super detail. There's really no need to go through and watch the video. I'll kind of summarize what he was talking about, but it is very irritating. But first off, look, dude, that is the clickbaitiest title ever based on what you talk about. The harsh truth. It's not even harsh.
I should click.
There's 74,000 people that attended GenCon. All of them know what you're saying, and it's not a harsh truth. Some of it is hard. I get it. But so let me just summarize this guy's video. Okay. Because honestly, kind of irritated. So I'm going to talk about it. So in his video description, he says, in this video, I break down my full GenCon experience, including how much the trip cost and why so many games were already sold out, the difficulty of finding scheduled events, why attending alone made the convention harder, whether GenCon is worth it for introverts, the good parts of the convention, who I think will genuinely enjoy GenCon, and why I only would return for work. And so I'm sure people will get mad at this, but I don't care. ChatGPT says, summarize it, right? He says, and we'll touch each point of this. It's enormous and overwhelming, right? The sheer size, the crowds, the walking, the noise, the number of things happening. It's all exhausting.
Okay.
Yeah, very valid point. But that's not a harsh truth of GenCon. That's any convention with 20,000 plus people.
Right. That's not GenCon's fault.
Right. I'm sure you're a joy at concerts. The second thing is planning matters a lot. My mind is actually blown. Getting the events and games you actually want can require serious advanced planning, and you can easily miss out.
That's true.
It is true.
That's one of the fun parts too, planning out what you're going to do.
Right.
Yeah. And so in the video, he complains about there's just too much to do and he can't do it all.
Oh, okay. Well, there's so much to do. Nobody can do it all.
No. Right.
Like, and the trouble sometimes
he's not the only one. Like, how could you do it all? That's not a bad thing. You have so many choices.
Imagine a convention with 70,000 plus people who attend it, and they have to make all the events obtainable by everyone. These are the type of people, I'm serious. These are the type of people that were complaining in ruined World of Warcraft. Because they're like, I can't access this content because I don't have time for it. Why does everything have to be available? In WoW, it's hard because you have to, in the older days, you have to progress, right? Not that you have to progress at GenCon. But at the same time,
maybe you should. We should all have a level,
an EXP thing. So you have to go to all the booths, and the EXP thing goes up. Dude, send a new app. Let's go. They should do like Pokemon Go, where you get walking
Yes, yeah, like they geofence they geofence each of the booths, and each one you visit, you get like daily visits and
there
stuff.
You go.
That would be rad, actually.
You can't go into this level until you
ads everywhere and microtransactions.
The one why I did this. The one thing I do say is because there is so many things. There are some, especially if you're newer to Gen Con, you're like, where the hell is all this stuff? Because there's certain things that aren't super clear that you're like, oh, this thing is actually here. You're like, I didn't even know that was even a huge thing. Like the whole circus thing, the D&D circus that they were putting on.
Well, yeah, but if you're, I guarantee you, if you're a follower of Dungeons and Dragons and you're into that stuff, you knew about it.
It didn't matter. I wanted to go to it. I noticed it the day, like Saturday. By that point, I was like, dude, I don't care. My foot is dead.
Well, right. But here's the thing, though. It's not Gen Con's responsibility to tell you about all these events, right? They get paid advertising fees for Wizards of the Coast to have Gen Con send out emails saying, we're doing this crazy event or things like that.
Right.
Or if they're a sponsor of Gen Con, they might get discounts or be able to send out so many communications for free and things like that. But it's not Gen Con's responsibility to tell you, hey, based on what I think you personally like, this is the things you should attend. And so that's why you have the app. That's why you follow these companies on social media. That's why you're part of their mailing lists and things. And
if
so
you're
like
new, it is, especially Gen Con, it is super overwhelming how much stuff there's. Was there like 27,000 events?
It is. But like I can go to a car show and be overwhelmed if I just got into muscle cars. I only say that because there's a street rod convention going on.
Hot Rod Nationals, I think, are going on here.
But the point is, like, anything that is new,
that's large
can be overwhelming. I'm sure. If somebody like me who never watched any kind of soccer games, and I'm like, oh, FIFA sounds cool, and I go to a World Cup game, I would be overwhelmed there because that would be absolutely insane. That people are crazy. I mean that quotes, right? They're crazy. They've got all these like banners and they're spilling beer all over you and they're loud and yelling and
songs and chants.
Yeah. Songs and chants that you don't know. And then one time when I actually did go watch one game for DC United many years ago, and I didn't know this, but they started putting this like banner across everybody in the crowd, and you were supposed to hold it and and it stunk, dude. Like that thing was that was ancestry, a level of sweat built into that fabric.
So what you're saying is this guy
American soccer, that's like nothing compared to World Cup. Anyway,
that's true. I was gonna say this guy would die if he went to Spiel Essen.
I can imagine.
220,000 people attended.
And what if he'd never been to Germany before? You'd have all the planning that would be involved.
My brain would melt.
Well, and so here's one thing he actually says. He says that you can't do everything, right? Talking about those offensive. Yeah, no crap, dude. Because you got 74,000 attendees this year.
Yeah.
How can you say everybody should be able to do everything? And it basically says Gen Con gives you an absurd number of choices, and you have to choose what you don't go and do.
But I mean, is life hard?
This is sad, by the way, man.
There were 27,500 events.
Yeah. 27,000.
No kidding. You can't do them all.
But I think that's with any con, even no matter the size, you're not going to be able to do everything. Right. Even our local con that's real tiny, you're not going to be able to do everything.
I didn't even go to the stadium.
Yeah.
This time last time.
Right.
This guy, maybe he missed something. And this is like sour grapes. Like he was upset that he didn't get to do
he just probably complains about everything.
Oh yeah. What he is, this guy is, look, I'm one to talk with the high level of subscribers I have. He has like 2.9 thousand subscribers. He made a clickbait title of a video so that right before Gen Con, because this was posted on
5 days before.
Yeah, a few days before. I don't remember how many. It was posted. Does it actually say on the video? I can't.
It will. It'll say loaded.
July 13th. So he posted it at mid-July, and he knew that everybody was getting ready and watching videos about Gen Con and complaining. I actually watched this prior to our last episode when we were talking about the preview for all the Gen Con stuff. It's just I didn't feel like I wanted to waste time on this.
Right.
But now that we're recapping Gen Con, I thought it would be a good thing to talk about what he's saying and then all the experiences that we had, right? So it's like a compare and contrast.
And we can piggyback and we can get a whole bunch of people clicking on us if we say something like the the harsh truth of Gen Con is a lie. And that'll be our title.
So is the cake. Cake is little.
It only has 8,000 views. So I don't think we're going to storm the gates with that one.
All right. So what else does he hate?
But it says convention center experience isn't always glamorous. You got long walks to all these different places. You got packed rooms, lines, fatigue, and the general logistics or whateter. Dude, like, have you ever been to an amusement park?
That's the hard truth.
Yeah.
It's a big place. It is.
So far, all these are truth. What's next?
Right. These aren't even harsh truths. These are truths that
facts.
everybody knows. If you've attended any sort of convention or your local state fair, like you get what's going on, man.
A lot
this
of walking.
is nothing, right.
Very tiring.
Yeah.
And then he says it's expensive.
How many, Tim?
Yeah, everything is expensive.
You have an iPhone, right?
Yeah.
Did you look to see how many steps that you did throughout the convention?
No, I did last year. It was like 15,000 steps a day.
Yeah, I did 47,000.
Yeah,
my ankle was not having it.
I probably walked around a lot more because I had the kids and we had to go to Lucas Oil a couple times and stuff.
Oh,
so,
that's true. Yeah. What else is
very healthy? That's so healthy for you.
Oh, I think it's great. I don't mind. And so, like, I've seen people online talking about the accessibility issues with Gen Con and some of the stuff.
Now that could be very legitimate. Actually.
There was a couple. We ran into an issue on the other side because there's a whole section, and then the other side, there's no ramp access.
Yeah, see, that's an issue.
And we saw a couple situations where we helped.
How's that Gen Con's fault? I mean, that's the convention.
That's the building.
Center. So
that's the convention center.
Get mad at them, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know. It's hard for me to say we should cater to everyone, like the small amount of people that have issues, which I think we should to some degree.
We absolutely should.
Well, I guess it depends.
But you don't have to go
compliance.
It's a federal
ADA
law.
compliance.
Yeah. So we should.
We should to that degree. I agree. But what I'm saying is they make it seem like I am like some of the way that people are posting about this stuff are making it seem like I am the most important person at Gen Con. Right. You need to cater to me.
Yeah.
And because they're being like just over the top, and maybe it's just the way that the internet works, but
but this guy, we helped him up and he was like, he like didn't care. He's like, whatever, it's fine. Like he's not he probably is not on Reddit. So
he probably is on Reddit.
He probably is. But no, he was super nice, like cool. But yeah, so far this guy's just picked out normal things of conventions. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, anyway, so yeah, I mean, if you watch the video and go through it, he has a lot of stuff that when he's talking, it's like, are you just completely dumb? Like, there's no other way to say it. Like what it sounded like is he had this good idea to trash Gen Con, get a lot of views or try to, and start saying the most obvious things. And realistically, if you look at the comments in the video, he's gotten trashed a bunch. Like,
oh yeah.
Like this person, I won't read off the people's names, but just showing up and thinking you're going to check all the boxes at Gen Con is nuts. Planning and maps are key. One doesn't just go to New York City without a map, app, or a tour guide. If you happen to want to give it another try, I'll be your guide. So that guy says,
that was nice.
Yeah. He says, as a 15-year vet who lives in India, I'm happy to help. That is the one thing I will say is most people in the gaming space, even though they're like, hey, slap upside the head, that's a stupid argument. I'll help you out. That's cool.
Yeah. And when you're actually at Gen Con, there's no problem going up to someone and saying, hey, do you know where such and such is? Or can you help me with this or that? Like, I've never had a problem with people, responding in some negative way. Like, board gamers are pretty helpful generally.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And one of the things he mentions is that, you can't do anything unless you plan all this stuff around. Like, you plan all this stuff. And I'm like, dude, okay, other than the kid events, I went into Gen Con with nothing on my plate. Nothing. Other than the list of games that we did on the preview and just, I know where the consignment store is and stuff like that. Right. Maybe the math trade. So there's a couple of things I did prior. But what I mean is as far as the events, I didn't do any of that stuff. And I was 100% solid booked on all minutes of the day.
I agree.
Oh, yeah.
And your experience is very different than mine.
Oh, yeah. Everyone's experience is different.
Well, also with kids, you're going to experience stuff that I wouldn't have had any reason to go to, like some of the rooms. So you could talk a little bit about that. It'd be nice to hear some of that. Yeah. Like the box thing. I'm like, I want to crawl through that. Let's go.
Couple more comments and then we'll move on from this video. But he kind of deserves this. This person said, imagine being so inept that it takes you 3 hours to find a ballroom. Like, dude, GenCon has an app. I'm sorry. I forgot about that part in the video.
Okay. And ask someone for help. Just ask someone.
Yeah. Right. And he says he's like, blah, blah, blah. Is GenCon good for an introvert? Dude, okay, first off, look.
No.
They're board gamers.
Board gamers are introverts, and 75,000 of them showed up to this.
Yeah. Did you go to the stadium? They're mostly Magic the Gathering players that probably even left their house.
Any event with 75,000 people is not good for introverts, but in a way it is, like, you know, yeah.
They do it because they love the hobby. Many of these people are introverts, and yeah, sure, they get, you know, there's anxiety and all this stuff that's going on. So the long story short, you're not unique. People already know this.
Yeah.
Like,
doesn't GenCon have a room?
The harsh truth about introverts, they don't like to leave their house. Kills me, dude.
They have a sensory room where for people that are overstimulated, they can go there and chill.
Yeah.
So they do. They admit it. They know that people are going to have that challenge. Here, we'll give you a spot to go to.
Right. So there you go.
Yeah. Easy peasy.
But anyway.
And the money thing, like he mentioned, it was expensive. Yeah. Well, I mean, any kind of travel, any kind of staying at a hotel, it's going to be expensive, especially in like a larger city like Indianapolis.
Yeah.
Like hotels are they're just expensive. You know, you gotta split it with people.
Yep.
Yeah. And he just talks about, I can't remember in the video. I think he talks about going alone, if I remember correctly.
Oh, okay. So yeah, it'd be even more expensive. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So the thing is, like, you go, I mean, just some quick tips, right? I've been to GenCon 23 years. So, but I could have been twice and already can tell you all this stuff, you know, because it's, I've been on vacations. It's no different, dude. You book ahead, right? You don't have to stay at an attached hotel. Find an Airbnb that is close enough to where you feel okay to commit to every single day.
That's what we do. On a bus line. Yeah.
On a bus line, pay for Ubers to go and drop you off, whatever.
Yep.
I mean, if you go with a few people and you split those tickets every single time, it is not that big of a deal. Right. Or it's not as expensive as paying the $200+ a night that the hotels charge.
I'm actually surprised he didn't complain about the lottery system.
I don't know if he did or not.
He probably has no idea about it.
Oh, for the hotels. Yeah, my gosh. Yeah.
It is annoying, but it's kind of, unless somebody can suggest something better.
Yeah.
And what else are they supposed to do?
And that hotel that's right in front of it will have, I think, 500 to 800 more rooms. That'll be completed before the next con. And they're expanding the convention center, so there'll be more room.
Nice. Now that it fell apart.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll get into that.
Yeah, I have details.
Yeah. So anyway, our experience at GenCon in this video is going to be a direct contradiction. Is that right? The
rebuttal.
Word? Rebuttal. There you go. A rebuttal to this video. If you go check out Gaming Caravan's video, it's called The Harsh Truth About GenCon. It's not that I don't agree with some of the things he's saying, because some of it is undeniable. Is GenCon big? Yes. Is it expensive? Yes.
Yes, it is.
Like, but the sky is blue, the dirt is brown. Like, these are just things that you already know. Like, you're not gonna, if somebody who's never been to GenCon and they know about GenCon, right? Because first off, I don't know anything about Iceland, but I want to go to Iceland.
Iceland's great.
Right. Yes, that's my destination. I thought it was Japan at some point. Iceland is probably my number one.
Sweet. Yeah,
Here's the thing. I don't expect it to be cheap.
No.
And I expect
$20 for a burger.
Annoying. I expect it to be annoying to get around to everywhere because it's not like congested. You know, I had to drive here, drive there, go places.
It's like going to Texas.
I don't know where the hot springs are. Yeah, I'm gonna have to figure all this stuff out. So
$20 for a beer. Yeah, it's not not cheap.
That is something I didn't know. That Tim, did you eat anything around the convention center at all?
So speaking of that, we brought our lunch and we went to the Airbnb to eat dinner.
So that's what we did. We did.
And I ate breakfast.
Every con we do now, we bring Uncrustables and like some like snacks and some other stuff like that in a bag and put it in my backpack. And we both did the same thing. We do it for all the horror movie conventions we do, everything else. Because if we're like, I'm hungry, go outside, chill, eat for 5 minutes, go back inside.
Oh man, Crustables, I can't do that.
If we remember before next year, I'd like to make a video that comes out on July 13th or whatever it was. And
the harsh truth about GenCon food.
The hard truth about planning for Gen Con.
Right.
Here's what I'll say though. The one thing about packing lunches, Sierra does a great job. She packs one that's a wet bag and one that's a dry bag, right? So you put all your chips and things like that in one bag. Anything that's supposed to be refrigerated or whatever is in the wet bag. Yeah. And here's the thing, 2 things. Well, I don't know how many things, but the point is, I don't like going out to eat there because it's expensive, right? But that's not even my number 1 point. My number 1 point is it takes so much of your time.
The lines.
To go somewhere. Even if you don't have a line, let's say you walk across the street to one of the restaurants and you sit down immediately and you get your food in 20 minutes, 15 minutes. Let's just say 15 minutes, which is pretty reasonable.
Very lucky.
No, right. Right. And then you eat and then you go back. You still burned an hour to an hour and a half of your time where you could just like sit down against a wall, eat a sandwich in 10 minutes, and that's taking your time. And you can get back up and go at it. And so to me, like just making lunches is number 1, the biggest thing about time saving, money saving. And there's really no reason to eat downtown unless you stay there, right? So we stay about 15 minutes out at an Airbnb or whatever. And so
I got lucky this time. I stayed 0.3 miles away. So there were only twice that we actually ate something other than what we brought. And that Taco Bell, by the way, is like the worst Taco Bell I've ever been to in my entire life. It is. If you go online, I think it's got a 1 star.
I didn't even know there's a Taco Bell. Where's the Taco Bell at?
So do you know where the Circle Center is? Yeah. So where you walk under and all that? Yeah. Circle Center is here. There's a Chick-fil-A, there's a Taco Bell, and then there's a BW3 right across from each other.
No, didn't some of that stuff used to be up in the actual mall food court? Did it move out, I guess?
I remember
the mall
that.
Closed in December.
The mall closed?
Mall's completely gone. Yeah.
Wow.
Closed at the end of last year. Because we used to go to the arcade. So what we did back in the day when we skated, we would go skate this skate park near there, go to the Circle Center on Tuesdays because they did $10 Tuesday. The arcade on the top floor, you could pay $10. Everything was put on free play, but from 5 to 10. So we would game from 5 to 10 and then drive back home.
That's awesome.
But holy crap, the mall's closed? I'm still stuck on that.
Mall's completely gone. I was so like, what the hell? Because we were looking it up and it just said permanently closed. And I'm like, that's weird.
Killed by Amazon.
I was so sad because that place, they're actually going to renovate it and change it to a bunch of cool stuff. But I was still sad. And it was literally December of last year.
That's crazy. I don't know. I've been to the mall a few times and it didn't seem like there was enough stores in there that were interesting enough to go. Other than clothes, like if you need something that's a clothing item, yeah, sure. But past that, what do you got? I mean, they didn't really have a lot to choose from.
No.
But, everybody's taste is different, I guess.
The only thing nice was the skywalk if it rained, which we'll get into that.
All right, well, let's talk about GenCon 2026 and all the stuff that we got to do. And James and GenCants, apparently. I didn't realize James called his name in Zoom GenCant. That's great.
That is a good name.
Yeah,
I like it.
That's fun.
I didn't attend. So.
Yeah, they didn't attend, but I can't remember. James, have you been to GenCon before?
Never.
Man, all right. Well, you've been to Origins.
It follows on my wife's birthday all the time. Next year it won't, so I'm going to try to make it next year.
You should bring very little money and do no planning whatsoever.
Yeah, there you go.
Then,
just kind of
make a
show
video
up.
complaining about it.
Try to find a hotel room that day of when I get there.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's how you do it. That's how you do it.
Actually, trick on that I found. If you call the hotels at 3 a.m, at 2:00 is when they shut off the they didn't show up thing. At 3 a.m, if you call, there were openings. I actually found an opening for one that opened. It was less than a 0.1. It was literally across the street from the convention center, but I already had mine. And the amount of effort to switch it, I was like, but they were like, just call it 3 a.m. on that day, and the next day.
And you did that just to test to see if it was
okay. Yeah, and there were 2 open spots.
You heard it here, people.
There you go.
Another thing people do is if they are rewards members for certain hotels, they can go in and they can book up to 13 months in advance.
Oh,
so they could already book their hotel room for the next GenCon. Now, I don't know if you get a great rate in comparison to what you get GenCon, but at this point, the rate, is there even a rate?
Right.
In the past, It used to be a discount because you're going through the hotel portal. I don't think it is now. I think it's just you get access to the GenCon list of rooms or whatever. But
it's a little cheaper, but I mean, still, you're RNG if you can actually get the lottery thing. So
yeah, and there's some people for whom price is not an object, and they do like there's VIP things that you can do at GenCon and all that too. Right. So,
for example, if I didn't get my call was within an hour and 10 minutes of the start. If I didn't get the hotel, I would have just got an Airbnb because that's what we did the year before, and that was totally fine.
Yeah.
Get them out of there. Get rid of those.
All right. Let's go on to the so this is our GenCon 2026 recap. We went to GenCon, and we're going to talk about the things we did. We're going to keep it, entertaining. Hopefully, we're not going to talk about all the crap that's boring to talk about, but we'll talk about the games we played. But we're going to do that last. Let's talk about some of the other stuff that we did prior to doing the games. Brian, do you want to start? What kind of just give a few things? We'll bounce back and forth, so it's not so.
Yeah. So like I was saying, this year for me was very different because last year I'd just started my channel, so I'm like just a normal patron going out and talking, getting. This year, so on Wednesday night, I got to attend the All Play dinner. So all the content creators get to go to All Play. It was at a place across the street at a place called I can't remember the name of it, but it was across. It was like it was called the Yard House. So they do like burgers and stuff like that. And it was really cool to like meet all the people I've either talked to online, like Illy and Tyler from Kavre, Professor Meg was there, Stella from Meeple University, Brazenator, and I run into her a lot. And then I ran into people from the people like Good Time Society, which I watch a lot of videos. I'm like, hey, it was just weird to run into these people, but a lot of them I've met multiple times before. Like Tim, I was talking to Chris Yee about music for a while because with the guitar, and I was like, oh yeah, I play guitar with my brother, and he's like, oh, because you guys have had that conversation. And then it just kind of clicked like, oh, I get it now.
Wait, which like one of you had a guitar?
No, we were talking. We're about music. I was talking to Chris about stuff and talking about Tim. And then we started about music because he's a guitarist. And then he was like, I was like, oh yeah, I play guitar with my brother. And he's like, like a little cog in your head goes, oh.
And like you didn't realize we were brothers, or which part?
I don't think the music thing but that was really fun to do. And then that was just a fun experience. Met a lot of people, got some games to do reviews. It was just a really chill, cool way to start off the night. And it was literally around the block. I had to walk around the block, go there, and come right back. So that was cool.
Yeah. That was Thursday yet?
That was
Wednesday. Yeah.
Wednesday, yeah. Okay.
I did get in town on Wednesday, but we were kind of getting the Airbnb ready. And one of the things we like to do is go to like Target or Kroger or whatever and buy a bunch of food because we eat dinner there. And so with having an Airbnb, you got access to an entire kitchen, which is great with 3 kids. But, the other thing is you don't want to like just bring up a bunch of meat and eggs and all this other stuff. So you just buy it when you get there and then buy what you need, just kind of calculate it out so that when you leave Sunday, you don't have to take a lot back.
Yeah.
Yeah. We kind of overdid. We had a little too much. We had enough to bring back. It was like, we overestimated the a couple things, but everything was pretty all right.
That's cool.
I didn't have a creepy basement to film a podcast in, but
like last year.
Yeah, dude, that was awesome.
The Airbnb we got this time was awesome because the basement had a pool table with a ping pong table that you can put on top of it.
Nice.
And then they had darts, and they had like a movie theater area, like with a giant like 70-inch screen and a couch and like surround sound and stuff. Dude, it was awesome. This place was great.
Airbnbs are, I would say, the most preferred way. And it's so much cheaper than the hotels half the time. And you get so many more amenities.
It can be, yeah.
Yeah.
One thing I forgot to ask. So you stayed in a hotel. Did you have to pay for parking, or is it included in your hotel fee?
You had to pay.
See, that's garbage.
I agree.
Oh, I agree.
and so here's the thing. I had to pay too, which by the way, I will, let's start with that. Parking this year was awful. Like, it was not hard to find a spot, but dude, these parking garages are like ExxonMobil. They are gouging the crap out of you as far as cost.
Yeah.
Yes.
We looked up last year and how much we paid to park, and it literally doubled.
It was like, $25
Last year was
25 a day at the Circle Garage last year. It was 50 this year.
Yeah, that's crazy, dude.
Yeah,
we paid in advance on ParkWiz and paid $45 for the I think the same. It's the Circle of Wonders garage or something.
Yeah.
And if you paid it there, it was $50. So we saved $5. But Sunday they upped it to $55.
Oh, that's funny.
Why?
Wow.
Why?
Why it's Sunday?
Sunday?
Why would you do Sunday?
It's so dumb.
They must have had something else going on.
Yeah.
You know?
Possibly.
We just said, screw it, I don't care. And we paid $10 extra, and I had valet parking. And the valet is under the hotel. And the only people that can access it is the hotel. So I come out if I want to go there. They bring my car. I text them, bring my car around, leave, come right back. Perfect. I was like, that's far less stress for me to have to worry about because we're close enough. Now, if I was like Tim's situation, one of our friends, Jillian, came down from Fishers, Indiana. It's about 30 minutes away. And she took her a bit to find a parking spot.
Yeah, finding a parking spot on Thursday and Friday is hard because everybody's
Saturday.
They're still working. But then on Saturday, it's even harder because it's so busy downtown in general.
Sunday, and they are overcharging. Like they're trying to take advantage. Here's the thing. The parking is a big issue because of that. But also my worst GenCon experience, I didn't give up on GenCon because of it. But back in 2012, I parked at a lot that I had to walk a distance to get to, and I was saving money on parking. I don't know how much it was, but it was like half of what I would have paid if I, parked at the hotel. And so I thought, okay, that's a good idea. No, it's not a good idea. That year, I had the catalytic converter cut out of my car.
Oh, that's because so it wasn't a garage. Was it just a lot?
It was a lot. It was just a lot, like outdoor parking. Yeah.
You would think that would be.
Dude, I avoid open lots like the plague because people are like that. They have access to your car. Like at my job downtown where I work right now, directly next to it is an open lot. They have a sheriff. They pay for a sheriff to be there. And while they were there,
I wish my lot had done that.
No. It doesn't matter. While the sheriff was there, because they pay for it for the first hour and a half and the last hour and a half. So like when people are showing up and leaving for work. But while the sheriff was there, somebody broke into one of the cars in the back of the lot, like smashed the window and started taking stuff. And then like the sheriff went over to him, was like, all right, well, you're arrested. I'm like, what is wrong with people?
Right.
Yeah.
And that is actually,
but at least they were there and they stopped them.
Yeah. And that was partially the reason why I was like the valet. I was like, at least I know it's safe.
Yes.
Because I will at least say that's something with Indianapolis downtown. It has gotten a little sketchier over the last couple of years.
Yeah. Yeah, I always park in a garage. But anyway, you're here to talk about GenCon, not parking or listen to. But I will say, if you're interested in going to GenCon and you've never been, at this point, you're spending $180 on parking. I mean, it really is $45 a day, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That's insane. That is insane. That has nothing to do with GenCon. I just want to preference that. It is not GenCon. They have no way to fix that. Besides buying a parking garage.
I've got a couple of questions.
Yeah, go ahead.
First, would it be cheaper to do Uber?
No.
From where?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it depends on where you're from. If you're coming pretty far out and going downtown, it might be okay. But if you're trying to Uber from a nearby hotel, like it's 10 blocks away or something, right? The Uber is. Their rates change based on events and stuff. So they up the events. And so you're probably paying $30 just to do a trip one way. Right. Yeah. And I only know this because there was people that we were talking to that were doing that. And they're like, it just doesn't make financial sense.
I will say the traffic was actually fine, which was kind of weird.
Well, the traffic isn't bad other than the fact that Indiana unfortunately does maintenance on every road on every single street ever.
Yeah. What was your next question?
The like in Origins, I have the hotel. I rent a hotel that's attached to the convention center, so it's easy to go back and forth with my games. What do you all do during the day with your haul as you go along? Do you go back to your car, or you just suffer and carry 20, 30 games around?
Well,
that's a good question
I
for
go back.
Let's start with this.
Mine.
I don't use it, but GenCon last year and going forward has lockers that you can rent each day that they will hold it. Well, they call it a locker, but it's basically just an open room where they put your stuff on the ground and give you a ticket.
Okay.
I think it's like $50 a day or something. It is not cheap.
Jesus.
But if you're getting a lot of stuff, it could be useful. For me, I walk back to the van and put my stuff in my van, which is another reason why I park in a close garage and in a garage, because, and then I put blankets on it and stuff. And it is what it is. I've got a dash cam that does motion sensing in the cab. So if anybody ever got into the cab, it would kick on type of deal.
Gotcha.
Even with the battery. No, unless I'm parked there for like 2 days, then obviously it's got a cut off if the voltage of the battery goes too low. So taking it back to the van's really, really good. I never did the wagon stuff, and it doesn't matter anymore anyway, because they outlawed that. Although I will say that I still saw a bunch of people, and that was kind of annoying. A couple of them looked like they were vendors though, so I gave them a pass, but I don't think all of them were.
I did see a couple with the wagons. For us, since our hotel was 0.3 miles, and I bought a different backpack this year that I use for other cons. It's a big, it's not like those massive ass backpacks. Like I'm going to like go on a trip across the universe. It basically will hold it'll hold like 5 or 6, 7 games, depending, like big, too big good. One. I think it held like
bag of holding.
It's like drillers. I could put like drillers, creature carrier. I could put like 3 drillers games and a couple smaller games. And
we call those ticket to ride size boxes.
Gotcha.
Yes.
So Brian's getting 3 drillers games. So
yeah, exactly. I'm just chilling. See, it all fits. So what we did is we would fill up, go back to the hotel, drop off, come back. But when we had a parking somewhere, we did the same thing. We just took it over there, loaded up in the trunk, because it has a closing thing, so you can't see anything. It's pitch black. You forget how heavy that stuff gets until you start walking around.
Right.
For example, this game is super heavy.
Let's talk about what game it is. Let's remember we're on a podcast.
Yeah, what's the game? What is this game, Brian?
Sorry. So there's a game called The Witches of Willow Spur. It's from like George.
Oh, it's from Devious Weasel.
That's what it was. Yeah. So, but this is super heavy, and I didn't think about how heavy it was. And I already bought it, and then George is like, "Hey, because I didn't go, could you buy a copy?" Well, I got it early and forgot how heavy it was, and I'm walking around I'm like, "This is awful." Because so everybody knows,
you're my hero, Brian.
10 weeks ago, I had tendon surgery on my foot, so GenCon was a little rough.
You should have brought your little knee thing that you can
roll around.
Knee scooter,
dude. That would have been awful.
Well, I do appreciate you picking that one up. I think that's going to be a great one. So
to add one more thing real quick is I bring a backpack, but I also bring 2 IKEA bags rolled up in it. And so as I collect games, I just bust out the IKEA bag, throw everything in there. Now, I want to do a tips of GenCon thing, but there's a few different tips that I've learned throughout the years. I unfortunately don't follow it because I forget every single time, but I tell people this a lot. Number 1, always bring an extra pair of socks, because halfway through the convention, if you just change your socks, it is like night and day on how your feet feel afterwards.
I buy brand new socks before I go.
Well, whatever you want to do, and throw them away afterwards. And no, I'm just kidding. The other thing is when you have, I always bring, I've brought in the past, washcloths, because you can take a washcloth and wrap it around like a fabric bag, like the cool stuff bags that they hand out or whatever, or your IKEA bag. Because if you're holding a bag the whole time and it's heavy, it's digging into your hand. But if you're holding a washcloth, that
those
actually
nylon straps,
right. If you make it bigger to hold on to, and it doesn't hurt your hand throughout the con.
Clever. So I have these little clippy things that's smooth, and you lip it on bags to get like grocery bags out.
You're right. You can hold a bunch of, it's like a carabiner with a padded.
Yeah. It's the thing. One trip or die to the house type thing.
Yeah, exactly. So that's some of the tips I get. But anyway, let's jump back into all the cool stuff we did at GenCon, I guess. We're getting on the tangent.
What about Thursday? What did you do Thursday?
Thursday. So here's kind of the way my 4 days worked out. Thursday and Friday was my time to shop and do things, to talk to the different vendors or publishers and stuff, to make contacts and stuff, and look for the new games, because I had my older kids on Saturday and Sunday. And so Thursday and Friday, all I had was my 3-year-old. So my wife and I were able to do a lot more things that we weren't able to do if you had all 3 kids. Saturday was the kid day. I'll talk about some of the kid events because I think it's a very awesome part of the convention and it's growing. And I think it's, just amazing to know what is available for them. And Sunday, I said I had the kids on Saturday and Sunday, but actually on Sunday, I had only my oldest and we did some really cool stuff together. And Sierra was with me too. But we only had one kid is what I'm trying to say. But it was the older one. And so it's much easier because you don't have to carry around a little 3-year-old and let the toddler run through the aisles and stuff. And you're like, so on Sunday, we played some Pokemon events and went to some booths and stuff and tried some games with him. So and then I wrapped up by talking to some other booths that I missed prior on Friday or Thursday to make contacts and such. So with that being said, on Thursday, I ran around and got a lot of games that I was interested in from our preview video. I won't go through every game that I got, but I will say a couple of the ones that I was excited to get. My number one, I think, has changed. My most excited game I ended up picking up was the Strange Slot Simulator.
Dude, you were so psyched on that.
Dude, it was awesome. The more I thought about it and when I picked it up the box, I was just like, this is great. I'm looking really forward to playing that. I'm trying to find my GenCon haul picture so I don't forget what I actually had.
Should be on like Tuesday, I think.
Well, you think it would be, but afterwards a bunch of pictures were airdropped to my phone and now everything's out of order. So yeah, I got that. I got Hell of a Deal, Smirk and Dagger.
Yes.
Which was also one of my top ones, which is crazy. And if you watched our preview thing, I'm not much of a co-op guy. I'm absolutely excited about this because of the idea. First off, number one, because of Balatro, right? It's a very Balatro style game. And number two, we recently played The Gang and that was awesome. So I'm looking forward to actually playing Hell of a Deal. It sounds like right up my alley, which is just a surprise. So
yeah. Did they have The Gang for sale with its expansion and
yes, and the deluxe
9 and 10 player? Yeah,
they had. So Cosmos had, Cosmos had the Gang Deluxe, and the More Players expansion or whatever it's called.
Yeah, Devere, nice. I think.
Devere?
The Gang, isn't it?
No, it's Themes and Cosmos or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Themes and Cosmos. Yeah. While we're talking about that, so on Friday, it was Thursday and Friday are kind of the same thing, other than demoing games. But we're going to talk about actually playing games and demoing games last. But as far as purchasing things, I did run across of a few things that I picked up that were very awesome. Number one, we went to the half price books thing. So I'm going to jump around a little bit. It doesn't matter what day I picked this stuff up because this was actually Sunday, but irrelevant. I went to Half Price Books and I have Cosmic Encounter and everything but 2 expansions. And they had those exact 2 expansions. I was like, this is for me. This is awesome. They're $12 a piece. That's insane. They're like $30 online.
Booth. There was a lot of stuff in that small booth.
Oh yeah. So, and they had the Origins First Builders expansion, which is something I've been wanting to pick up and I just didn't. And then it went out of stock in a few places and I just haven't really tracked it down. So I got all 3 of those for a very, very like $30. It was crazy. I was very excited about that. I went over to Board and Dice and they had the Lagrange master set for $40, which is insane. Like, I don't even think you could buy Lagrange, brand new for $40, and this master set was there. Now I will say on Amazon, I think it's like 50 right now. So they did end up putting copies on Amazon if you want to check that out. I was able to get some other games. Like from our preview video, I ended up getting that Rocking Raft game because it looks really cool from Horrible Guild. Yeah, you just like rock that raft back and forth and all the gems fall and you can put them on your little cards and stuff.
Yeah.
One thing I did not see on the preview list that I ended up purchasing was World Wonders Europa expansion. I didn't even see that on the list, or maybe I didn't either. It either wasn't on the list or it came out afterwards.
Because that would have been on my list.
Yeah. So they had that and some promos to pick up. So I bought those. Let's see. Deal with the Devil was $10 at Miniature Market. And I've always kind of been like I want to play it, but I didn't want to spend money on it because it was only a 4-player game. It's a CGE title that came out years ago. $10 though, man, for a game that size was pretty awesome.
Absolutely, yeah, totally worth it.
Yeah, bought the Creature Caravan Wonders expansion, which was one of the things we were looking forward to. I got the Tiny Mountain Goats. Although Tiny Epic Mountain Goats would be really fun. And there's a bunch of other games that we got that we'll talk about later.
You got the Mountain Goats Legacy one.
No, Tiny.
No, the
Epic,
little one.
The little one. Right, it fits in your palm of your hand.
Gotcha. Okay.
Which is weird because Mountain Goats isn't that big of a game anyway.
No. It's a pretty small.
No. That's the Legacy one. Like the normal Mountain Goats is only like a 4x4 box.
Yeah.
It's like the all play size boxes.
Yeah,
right.
The fat squares. I don't know what else you would call it, but like the fat square. I like how James puts my
Tim's face. They found your list.
He found my haul picture and now it's his background.
Nice.
Yeah, so there's a lot of stuff that we got that was pretty cool.
It's quite
I'll let Brian talk a little bit about some stuff he got, and then we'll jump back and forth.
And by the way, that Witches of Willisburg is a little over 4 pounds.
Is that why you went and measured like?
Yeah, that's other things too.
He's mailing it to me, so he has to know.
I have to mail it anyway. So
okay, but I left the video just to go weigh the box.
That was part. Well, the funny thing is, because I'd already got it, and the next day I'm like, all right, I'll get it for you, no problem. I got it first, forgetting how heavy it was, and I'm like, by the end of it, I was like, this sucks. Yeah. So the list of games. One thing I found interesting, at least at our hotel, they were giving out hummingbirds and
live
Oasis. I think they were just giving it to everybody that was at the hotel.
You know, I did see like our friend Eric, who was the host of the podcast at one point. He also sent out that they gave them games at his hotel. It seems like multiple hotels were giving out games that you just go into your room and they were there.
That's very nice. Yeah.
It was pretty cool. For us, we basically got a couple games during the all play stuff for review, stuff like Mountain Goats. I got I had to look at it, sorry I couldn't remember. There's a game called Enchanted Ivy that I know George is pretty excited about.
No, James.
No, that was James.
James.
It's a one-player game.
No, I'm sorry. It was GenCon that is excited about it. But yeah, so they got that. The Jibber Jabble
resident
game.
Solo gamer.
Yeah.
Yes.
The Jibber Jabble game's pretty cool. So got that. Got it signed. She was there. I did pick up Marker Fresh, which I was like
on Tim's recommendation.
Yeah. So I was like, I'm going to pick that up. Of course, I got the Hell of a Deal game. I got Drillers. Drillers was interesting. And this is public knowledge, but basically, they extremely underestimated how many people wanted to buy this game. They brought 800 copies with them. They sold out before the even end of Thursday, so they had to pay for shipping and get double the order, and they sold out of that by end of Saturday.
That's wild.
Pro tip on that. Pro tip, or not pro tip, but that happens more than you think it does. I have talked to so many publishers in the past that had to airship more copies overnight for the next day of GenCon.
Yeah,
like dozens of times I've talked to them about this, and so when people sit there and complain about the cost of games, this is not making them money. I mean, they are making some money off of it, but when they have to pay that amount of airship to get 300 and 400 copies sent,
trust me,
they're taking a chunk out of their stuff, but they want to get it to people.
Yeah.
So you should look at companies and say, you know, these companies that are less than 10 people big really do love the products that they're pushing and trying to sell you. And they're not making tons of money off of this. Most of these people at these publishers have a daytime job, you know, not all of them, but some, a good portion of them do.
Right. But CGE, they were like, we completely underestimated. They thought they brought enough. Another one was, and I didn't get it, and it sucks I didn't get a chance to get a game, but Entropy, I wanted to get from Board and Dice. They sold out of all their copies by noon on Thursday.
That's crazy.
Wow. And they were like, what happened? They were blown away. But that
was sold out of like all their stuff. Like they had Maestro, they had Thessaloniki. They sold out like.
Interesting.
So I went there later Thursday, which is when I got Lagrange, right?
Okay.
Their floor was just blank. They really didn't have anything. Like they sold all their product.
And they stack them up like little tower.
Yeah.
Where they stack them up like 10 in a row where it's a tower. It's like waist high. Gone.
All that work.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
it looks cool.
Yeah, so we did that. A couple of the games I did buy the Creature Caravan expansion. Got a couple of things. I got Foxglove Farm because I like Timbertown. I can't remember the game that's based on that it was converted to Foxglove. Some other random stuff like Tiny Epic Adventures, the dungeons, and then actually I got I don't know, just a bunch of different games. It was all kind of on my list. But what was kind of fun was just finding new titles. I was like, oh, that looks cool. Like one of the games, I think Rome, I actually popped him. He was like, oh, that's a really good game. I was like, okay.
Yeah, Rome.
Oh, yeah.
ROAM. That game is great. So,
okay.
Yeah. It just, you sit at your orientation to the main board and you're putting out effectively Tetris pieces, but it's, little tokens you put out. And so like if you put out an L shape, it's, from your perspective, whereas the other person on the other side is putting it from their perspective, and you're trying to fill in different spots. It's a great game.
That was an aspect that I thought, I was like, that's clever. That looks fun. I'll play it. What were you going to say, Jen Can't?
I wasn't going to say anything.
Oh, you want like this?
I was pointing at the games you were talking about.
Putting games. Oh, yeah. But yeah, a couple of the longest line I had to wait into was getting the Forest Shuffle Smoky Mountain game because I did it first.
Asmodee they always have a long line.
Yeah. But that was absolutely worth it.
I waited in 0 lines.
Yeah. That was like the only line. Everything else was fine.
The only line I waited in was 2 people deep to play Pokemon pinball. Like an actual pinball machine.
That's pretty rad though.
We'll get to that in a second, but go ahead.
Brian, is that just a regular edition of Clank?
That one
that you got?
So that is the anniversary edition.
Because I thought the Kickstarter was like a big box, a big cube.
This is
the thing you're talking about is the Master Thief edition, but this is like a 50th anniversary. Does it come with anything specific?
10th. It hasn't been around for 50 years.
Yeah, the Thief edition comes with expansion. They changed a bunch of stuff. The thing you're talking about for the Clank thing is the Clank box of holding or whatever that's coming in Kickstarter. Yeah. It's basically so you can take everything Clank and put it in one box.
Right.
And it comes with figures and a bunch of stuff.
The specific thing that you have, does it have anything different than the Clank that you can buy on Amazon?
Or does it have that new expansion?
It's got the Wanderers Monsters mini expansion, but they also redid a lot of the artwork and the board. It's all the dual layer boards now and stuff like that.
Oh, nice.
I mean, that's cool.
If you've got the original, but we didn't have it, so I was like, this is a good way to get it. Plus, we got the cool pin from buying it. So,
well, speaking of that thing, let's talk about some of the cool booths that we stopped by. Not necessarily demoing games or whatever, but it can be anything. This is where Brian is going to talk a lot about artists or whatever, because I just stayed away from the entire art gallery. What's it called? Artist Alley.
It's artist. Yeah, I think Artist Alley, Artist Row, or something.
Right. A couple of places I stopped by real quick is. One, on Sunday, I stopped by Collector's Cache, I guess. I got the business card right here. If you go to www.collectorscache.com, like CACHE, they sell Pokemon cards and stuff like that, right? But the reason I want to throw a shout out to them is because they are absolutely awesome. We had no intentions to visit this booth, but Theron, my oldest, was with us, and we went to play, we went to look around for Pokemon cards. And so we stopped by and we were like, it's like, oh, we want to look at some singles and stuff. And I was like, man, some of these are really expensive. They only had really expensive cards. And this dude, I think his name's Micah. And I apologize if I butchered your name or if I misremembered it, but I'm pretty sure his name is Micah. And he was like, well, all these stacks over here, your kid can look through and just take whatever he wants. And it was like 2,000 of cards of just what happens is people come up to the booth. They buy packs, they open them, they take the rare, and they throw everything else in a pile. And they said, just let kids get it, which is awesome. Theron was so excited. We went through all the cards and we tried not to be greedy, but the guy was like, dude, I promise you, it was Sunday. So he's like, take as much as you want. I don't care. And so we were looking through it and like, that was already awesome as it is. And we're like, man, this is really exciting. I was like, dude, I'm going to buy some packs because that's such a cool thing to do for kids. And he's like, dude, there's no pressure, right? He was such a nice guy. And he goes, you know what? Tell you what, at our store, our physical, like retail brick and mortar, what we do is every quarter, a kid can come in, show us the report card. And if they do well, then we give them packs. And so it's like, so if you have your kid's report card, we went through our email and found his report card, and he did really well, and like he got packs and stuff. And like
that's cool.
Awesome. That's amazing,
dude.
I love that,
dude. It was awesome. He's like, the only stipulation is I would like you to open it now so I can see what you get, because I want to be excited. I was like, heck yeah,
that's
dude.
Cool.
You know, I would open. Cool. We even opened the packs that we bought. You know that I bought and paid money for. And so this guy, he was awesome. It was such a cool booth. I will be stopping by his booth every GenCon going forward. That was such a cool experience. And it was really wholesome to see how much they love kids, because some of these booths,
I love it. As a teacher, I love that concept.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Copy that cool concept, everybody. Oh my God.
Hey, Tim, to piggyback on that, you should tell the other story about the tickets.
Oh yeah, so I'll talk about some of the kids' events real quick.
As well,
yeah,
so.
And so Pokemon related story. We went to play a pack battle, and if you're not familiar with what a pack battle is, you open a single Pokemon pack and you add 10 energy cards, and that's your 20 card deck. And there's some rules, like the energy are all wild. All your Pokemon have the Ditto rule, so like your Charmander can evolve into any Pokemon stage 1 or 2, right? So you don't have all these limitations of deck building and such. But it's really easy for new players of the game, or especially kids, to be able to play and have fun in a tournament environment, because they play 2 rounds. And so we played it. And at the end, this guy comes up, he goes, "Hey, can I give your kid my cards?" And he'd give him a bunch of cards. And it was like awesome. And then so he was super excited. And then we went to go, you get a ticket, like a Pokemon event ticket for playing, and then you get one for each win. So he didn't win either of his games. He only had one ticket. And so we went to the counter, and like, there's a bunch of things that you can buy, like dice and tokens and such, but he wanted a pack, and he's like, "Oh man, they cost 2. So he's like, "Well, I guess I'll get this or whatever." And this guy came over and was like, "Hey, can I," and he did not hear us talking. Right. So he came over, he's like, "Hey, I got 3 tickets and I only wanted a pack. So I have 1 ticket left over. Can I give it to your kid?" And he was so happy. I mean, the people, like, I don't know. I have not played Magic in a very long time. The Magic scene is definitely not geared towards kids, and there's a lot of just a-holes out there. Right. But the Pokemon scene is so nice, and it's just getting nicer and nicer. Every single time you walk around, these people are just awesome, especially with kids, and it's so wholesome.
Good.
It kind of reminds me of like how MTG many years ago felt. Everybody was happy and talking. Now it's like, "I'm gonna kill you on turn 1." With my meta deck that I spent $4,000 on. It's like, yeah. That's why they're all over. They're all the way over there in the stadium
to keep them away from the kids.
Yeah, pretty much.
Get the Magic people out of here. Because Pokemon's in the main play hall, like right next to the vendor hall. All right, talk about a couple boosts, Brian. We'll bounce back and forth here.
Let's see. What was a couple boosts? Card Hall was hilarious as always. I think they end up raising like 50,000 this year for like.
That seems a little high. 5,000. I'm gonna go with that.
No, it's on their site. I don't know what it is. It's a lot, but I was too tired to see. I was tired to see the destruction of it, so we didn't do that. It was funny because I felt a lot of booths were maybe a little smaller this year, because they almost needed to be to add so many. There were so many booths, but then you had some booths that were just like
11,000.
ginormous, like massive.
But just really quickly, for people that don't know what Card Hall is, it's where they build all the houses out of cards.
Yeah. It's like a card stacking thing. And then on Saturday night at 10, everybody flicks coins, and then all the coins are accumulated and they're donated to a local charity kind of thing.
Yeah.
It is a wild sight to see too, because it's like, it sounds like a war.
Yeah, I need to go do it. The next year I'll actually stay and do that. By that point, I was like, I'm tired.
And some of the structures that they can build with these cards are spectacular.
You know what? It is spectacular. And then you get closer and you're like, sometimes you look and you're like, "Oh my God, I would love to have these. What is going on? Why are you all folding these up and making a tower out of it?"
You know how hard it is for me to not want to just run and dive into one of those one day? Dude, it is some like
the intrusive thoughts.
The greatest. Oh my God. Let's see. I'm trying to think of any booth that was really wild.
You just have to cover your whole body in coins, and then you can do that.
Yeah, and they all fall off.
Yeah. Think real quick, I'll move on to one.
Yeah.
So when I went to find a wrap of mine, I went to the Crafty Games booth and I was going to buy it. Right. So he was like, I want to buy this. You know, I don't want to wrap a space. I just want to wrap a mine.
Yeah.
And so I picked it up and I purchased it. And while I was talking to this guy, I was like, oh, I got this podcast or whatever. And I looked at his badge, like the Crafty Games logo. And I said, is this, like, are you all related anyway to Spycraft, the RPG? And this guy's name's Alex Flagg. I think I don't know what he's either the owner or somebody who runs it or something. I think he did found the company. He was like, well, a funny story about this is he jumped on to, I'm a butcher his story. He actually has offered to come on the podcast with us and talk about this because I thought it was a fascinating thing. So Spycraft is a D20 third edition Dungeons and Dragons licensed, or, they use the open license, gaming license thing where it's like spies, like James Bond. It's called Spycraft. And I love this game. I own like 15 books. We played it a whole lot. It was such a great game. And so Crafty Games, if you look at their logo, it's written in the font that the Spycraft books are written in, like the way it's like stylized. Yeah. And I was like, man, that looks so familiar. And so like apparently he ended up writing a lot of the books for this and, was coming out with the game and stuff. And AEG originally had it and then they dropped him or whatever. And he was telling me this whole story and it was fascinating. I was like, dude, I don't even care about your games now. I want to know about this story. Not in a mean way. I was being silly, but it was such a cool thing to see that like Spycraft, I guess it's still being played and stuff, but it lives on in the fact that his logo and the way that this whole gaming company came around is now just doing all these publishing of games or whatever. And it was just cool to see, like we ran into that at Gamma with the WizKids Games guys. These people are in this atmosphere and many, dozens of decades long, right? Some of these people came from this place to this place to this place to this publisher to this distributor. And it's really cool to see like how involved some of these people that run these companies are. So that was a really cool booth to stop by. And I guess the bonus was that I bought a wrap of mine rather than the other way around. So,
right. That's awesome.
Well, and if we get him on the podcast, that'd be brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, I want to do a lot more guests because it is fun to hear these stories, because I was sitting there talking to him and I was like, dude, I could literally steal all your time listening to you tell me these stories. It was such a cool little experience because I just love the gaming history and the things that people have done and where they go from, and like these things that you just don't think about, right? I wouldn't say people take board games for granted, but they take the idea of the publishing of a board game for granted because it's the amount of blood, sweat, and tears that happens, especially in the old times, right? Newer stuff, it's a lot more streamlined. They've got a lot more companies that actually can manufacture the product, but then, and they have the people, right? You're thinking about GenCon now is 74,000 people. GenCon in 2003 was 20,000. And so the board gaming world has gotten bigger and things have gotten more streamlined and more, like pipelines to all these things to be able to make it easier for people to make games. I mean, what's the game crafters? Is that what it is? Like you can go and publish your own game effectively on a whim, right? If you really want to. I mean, it has to be good.
A lot of people are doing that, and some of them are very good. Yeah,
I've built some demo out of that. I mean,
and so, but in the past you couldn't do that. So listen to some of these stories that people had with the way the manufacturing process used to be. It's just a fascinating thing to see the trials and tribulations and things that they went through. And anyway, pretty cool.
Yeah, I have a story I can add real quick.
Go ahead.
It's not a GenCon story, but it's related to what you were saying, where people are in the hobby for so long, and then it's the history of the gaming and everything. So this past summer, I was in Ireland doing some things there. I always like to go to Ireland, and I went to Killarney. There's a new game store there called the Guildhall, and it's just a little game store in Ireland. Doesn't have a whole lot of selection, to be honest, but over in one corner, there's a couple of bookshelves, and they are stacked full of all the like the gaming notes and process and prototypes from Steve Jackson games. Because the guy at that store,
awesome.
Yeah, he's a friend of Steve Jackson, and Steve Jackson sent him a bunch of stuff, and they've put it, and it's the Gaming Museum of Ireland.
That's fantastic, dude. Because Steve Jackson has been in this business for, geez, how long? Like back in the 70s or something?
Yeah. And if you want to see his early stuff, it's in the corner of a little shop in Killarney.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's really cool.
You know, that is another thing that I really do like with the cons is also checking out games and stuff that's in the alpha stages really early on. I mean, Tim was like this as well, is doing a lot of beta and alpha testing of video games. And that's just, I think that's a fun aspect of it. Like I actually have there's a book that I bought. It's called I used to play World of Warcraft for a long time, but John States,
right?
Yeah, John States. He was one of the original designers for World of Warcraft, and he released a book called the World of Warcraft Diary. It's a journal of computer. Okay, I have to. It's probably let me fix this. Hold on one sec. Or I'll just have it turned down.
Are you watching something while you're talking?
It's in the other room, but let me see if I can.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll continue real quick.
Yeah, but
go ahead. And then
short version. I bought the book, and it basically goes through all his original notes, scans of his information. It's brilliant.
That stuff is cool to see.
That stuff is fun. Tell you what, do something. I'm gonna have it turned down just a hair because
that's cool. So anyway, some of the other boosts not boosts, but some other things that we did is we went and did the pinball alley, and that was really cool. They have between the main convention center and Lucas Oil Stadium, they have all these pinball machines lined up, and they wanted to play it. And I was like, yeah, sure. All right. So on the way back after doing some of the kid events, which I'll talk about next, we did some of the pinball machines, and one of them we did was the Pokemon pinball, and that was really fun. We had to stand in line for that. Like I was saying, there's a few people wanting to play it, but
are they tokenized? Are they coins?
Well, some of the pinball machines have token, like you can put actual quarters in.
Okay.
The other ones have the little scan your card thing. All of them have the scan your card, but some will take actual quarters.
Oh, okay.
So you have to at least go to the middle where like the booth is, where you can buy a card and put credits on it. But some of the pinball machines, you could just put $1 in a change machine and pay with quarters.
Nice.
I really wish I would have taken a picture of this other machine. This was like a big machine that had like almost like mini golf, and you hit a golf ball up a ramp and it goes into all these different holes. But there's a giant screen, and you're actually doing like a epic RPG while you're doing like fighting dragons and stuff or whatever.
Yeah, that's brilliant. They have pinball machines like this.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the one you're talking about, but my buddy has the Dungeons and Dragons pinball machine. It's like you play a game like while you're playing pinball. It's insane.
Yeah. This is like a whole pinball arcade machine. It's like Pinball Quest or something. I don't know. I can't find it, and I really.
But you say it's like mini golf. This one you're talking about.
It's like a mini golf that you stand on. It's almost like you're playing. You know how like you stand in front of a golf simulator, right?
Yeah.
Take that concept, but make it slightly smaller, and so like maybe two people can stand next to each other and roll it up. That's about how big it is. It's a big machine, but it's not like massive. But like there's a podium that you can go and like select stats and choose like paths and stuff, and then you're hitting the mini golf. Oh, dude, I really wish I would have been able to play that.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
The amount of time that we would have to spend to wait for that was just not worth it.
Yeah.
And I don't even know how much it was, but I'm sure it wasn't cheap.
Yeah. You were talking about a booth that I thought was really fun.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
So we spend a lot of time in the artist alley, just because it's like we talk about creative techniques and stuff like that. One of the guys I ran into is a guy named Bradley Sadler. He's an author that does like In Short Order and Emerald Decay and a bunch of like, I guess like Lord of the Ringsy type of like things, but more like 80s themed styled. He had his board game and everything. Super cool guy. But he actually is a drummer, like a metal drummer. So like he gave me some drumsticks and everything. And he does a board game that's all like this Stranger Things 80s type of like D&D stuff that's based on his novels.
That's cool.
Yeah, so he was really cool. We met the artist that does the artwork for Devious for Smoke and Dagger. She was interesting. It's a lot of you
say that in a way that's like, do we
a language barrier.
Oh, language barrier. Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
So it's hard to...
there are certain people you talk to that they're not from the U.S. So sometimes their verbiage is a little weird. Sometimes, But some and artists are by default a little
quirky.
Interesting. Yeah, they're literally. We're all unique. I mean, let's be real. We're all weird. But there's a super cool people, and some of the artists I see like Nigel. Is like one of the raddest guys. His artwork is phenomenal. And we run into him at every time. He lives in Italy now, but we run into him at like every convention. He's super nice. But yeah, that area is pretty cool. It's just a different vibe. I do like that I didn't see, except for maybe one booth, those stupid 3D printed like dragons and stuff. I was glad. So I was glad I didn't see that. And then
we've complained about that on the podcast. It's small conventions. There's always like 10 of them. Like, they have slots for 15 booths, and 10 of them are 3D printed stuff.
Yeah, and they all have the exact same thing.
Now I will say now that you say that, the reason you don't see a lot of them in the vendor hall is because they're in Lucas Oil Stadium. So if you go through the aisle, or not aisle, but the tunnel that leads and it has the pinball alley, and you go to Lucas Oil Stadium, when you go underneath Lucas Oil before you get up to go into the main area, there's a hallway there, and they have all kinds of crafting people, like a lot of 3D printed stuff.
Oh, interesting.
Dice towers and stuff. It was pretty cool. I mean, one of the booths had a bunch of Pokemon that were, those little jiggly things or whatever that people make, dragons and all that crap, but they were Pokemon. That was kind of neat. So they do have a little bit more unique 3D printed stuff, but there was the same crap where it's like, here's all the D&D, furniture. Right. One had all of the Hero Quest pieces like 3D printed that you can buy, like from the original Hero Quest board game.
So if you're missing some,
I guess, I'm sure they're not 100% like a rip off, but it was so close that you say, "Oh, is that from Hero Quest?" Maybe the books are on the left side instead. I'm sure they avoided some kind of copyright stuff, but that's where a lot of the 3D printed vendors go. And it makes sense too, because I think a lot of RPGs are played down there.
And that's actually, if you think about it, when you first go into GenCon,
the second floor of the convention center, but
the first 3 or 4 rows are all D&D related, and that's where everybody was. You didn't see them further back.
Yeah,
I see that. I think that both of you picked up the Codenames Critical Role edition. Have you played it? Have you played it?
We'll get to that. We kind of sat down for a demo of it.
Okay, cool. I want to hear about it.
Yeah. So, I mean, Brian purchased it. I don't know if he's actually played it. We'll get to the games and stuff here in a minute.
I got it for review.
Fair enough. So, one other thing I'll talk about is all the kid stuff that we did, because like I said, the kids area, when you enter where the will call and stuff like that, actually better ideas where you can buy all the GenCon merch that's not in the vendor hall. There's these 2 big ballrooms, Wabash 2, I think it's called. And that's where all the kids things used to be. They've expanded to Lucas Oil. We'll get to that. So on one side, you have all these boxes and crafting things and like a little area for kids or toddlers and babies to crawl around in, right? And they have some board games. They have like a little kid library of board games that you can just pick up and play with your kids. You don't need tickets to go into this room. You could just go. Obviously, if you have don't have kids, don't go. But we eat our lunch in there too. So we're like eating lunch and the kids are playing while we're eating and stuff. And they'll run back to the table and eat and run and play and eat and run and play. So it makes it really fun for the kids. They have all these boxes. Kids can build it and stuff. Or this time they actually built like a maze that they can crawl through, which was really cool. I mean, it's huge. This thing is probably like 40 feet long. It's not, we're not talking a small amount of boxes here. It is it's a long room. So that was a really cool area. They moved the foam sword fighting stuff to one of the lobby areas of Lucas Oil Stadium, and they have so much room. This is Motley Kids events, and they do all the foam sword fighting events where they are like Vikings, and all the kids are like warriors, and it's really fun, and it's really funny because like they're like and die, and everybody's like and falls on the ground, after like whatever game they're doing ends or whatever.
Yeah,
it's such a fun event to do. It's very safe. They practice really just safe stuff, and they have so much space now. I'm really excited for them. Apparently Motley Kids does like 75% of all the kids events at GenCon, and they love it because it's getting bigger. And they're like, here's more space. And he thought they only gave them a small bit of that area they were in, but like, nope, you get the entire thing. It is like at least 3 times bigger than what they had before.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, I'm very excited for him. I forgot his name. I apologize, but he is such a cool guy, or at least the guy that runs the Viking sword play stuff. I mean, we will be doing it every single time we bring kids because it is just absolutely awesome. Another thing that the kids thing does is they have a crafting area, and in the crafting area, they have just all these different crafts. But this year, or at least I think it's new to this year, they had the ability to make Gaslands cars. But if you're not familiar, Gaslands are where you take Hot Wheels and put guns on them and stuff, and you play this miniature combat game.
Yeah.
But this is like Wasteland cars or something. I don't remember what they called it. But they use these little monster trucks from the dollar store, and then all these 3D printed like pipes and skulls and like spikes and like plates and stuff. And you can take them
bigger. They're bigger than the little.
Yeah, they're bigger than Hot Wheel. Well, I mean, they're pretty much slightly bigger than a Hot Wheel, but they have big wheels, right? Because they're monster trucks.
Yeah.
But you get hot glue guns, and you can glue all these pieces to it and cut things up. And dude, that was awesome. My kids had such a good time doing this. And it was such a cool thing that, like, can we do this at home? You know? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. I'll go 3D print some of this stuff. You 3D print, exhaust pipes that are all bent and things. It's such a cool idea.
That is such a cool idea. And you can print yourself some extra ones, like put them on Etsy as a pack, so other people can do it too.
Oh, absolutely. And
why not?
What was really cool is there was no guns. There was no guns at all, even though my kid turned one of the exhaust pipes around and made it a flamethrower. But creativity wins in that idea. But it was nice that they didn't have anything like, I guess, quote unquote, offensive. Your kids aren't going to go and build this death machine that's like, guns, right? So the only thing that can maybe keep you away from it is they did have bones and skulls, but
right. It's got to be metal. Come on. Yeah,
it's got to be metal. It's like basically you're building Mad Max cars, dude.
Yeah.
So the kids stuff was really fun this year, and man, it is. It takes away a lot of the time that I have at GenCon. Well, sorry, it doesn't take it away. What it does is it reorganizes it to kid oriented day, which is Saturday, which is weird for me because I guess Family Day is Sunday, but more events for kids are on Sunday or on Saturday than on Sunday. Mm-hmm. And on Sunday, I like to go around and do some cleanup action of booths and stuff. So
yeah, because you like the deals, and if they're trying to get out without carrying all their inventory, they're going to make deals.
Speaking of that, in the last couple of years, haggling is not as prevalent. Okay. I remember from the start all the way to COVID, you could haggle, like even on Saturday, right? Saturday you could haggle a little bit. Obviously, you can't haggle too much on Thursday and Friday because it's they got the whole convention to sell stuff,
right?
But I haggled a little bit on Sunday. That was pretty cool. Like, I'm not a haggler. I don't like doing it. It makes me uncomfortable.
That surprises me.
Yeah, dude. I don't know. It's weird. At one point, years ago, I bought the Resident Evil deck builder expansions, but I was like, hey, Eric, will you go haggle? Eric is definitely a haggler, dude. Right. He will haggle his way away, but he ended up getting it for what I was asking. But yeah, I don't haggle. I go in, okay, I'm gonna buy the car with whatever they put on the sticker.
You like finding the deals, but you don't want to like create the deals. You just want to.
Yeah, I like finding the deals, right? Yeah. I don't like to be pushy and be like, nah, I can't do 15. Would you take 14? Dude. So well, I don't know if Brian's back yet, but like the virtual flea market is one of the places that I love to do for GenCon prior, or any convention really. Yeah. And so like thousands and thousands of games are listed on there, and you can get on there, and people, it's annoying also because people put like, firm $15, and people are like, I would do 10. Well, sure you would, but I put the word firm and you can't read.
Yeah, that's like the Origins one. There's some people, somebody would post up there $15 for this game, and immediately somebody would be like, "Will you take $14.50?" It's like, what are you doing?
Like, dude, we got like a month and a half till the convention, and also it's been up for 5 minutes, and you're dropping about 50 cents. Like, you just have to walk away with a win.
That's hilarious.
Like,
what about there's a thing at GenCon where there's a room with all these games, and on one day it's a certain price, but then it goes to a lower price the next day, and even lower the next day.
That is the consignment store and the auction. Right. But I'll get to that real quick right after I talk a little bit more about the flea market.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
So one thing is I put a game on there. Ironically, it's Hummingbirds because we had multiple copies of it from GenCon.
And the hotel. Well,
I didn't have it from the hotel, but I put it on there and I said, like $20, right? And so it was $20. It stayed on there for like 2 weeks. It didn't sell. No one said anything. So I dropped it to 10, like 3 or 4 days before the convention. And I was like, whatever. If I get $10 out of it, we're going to keep one copy and sell the other, right?
Right.
And so I put up, I was like 10, let's see what happens. Or maybe it wasn't Hummingbirds. It was 30 and I said 15. That's what it was. Okay. I don't remember, but let's just say it was like a different game and it was 30 and I dropped it to 15. I halved it is what I'm trying to say.
Sure.
And then the guy comes back like within 45 minutes and said, would you take 10? It's like, dude, I just halved the price of this game and you're coming in. Some people are just stupid. It just irritates the crap out of me. Like it clearly is. And maybe, you know what? Maybe they did not see the edited by in time, but I know what they did see. When I edit the price, I do a strike through. So it has the original price striked out and you have the new price. So you know what it was and what I made it. Maybe you missed that I just updated it, but it was insulting to me. Come on,
maybe
guys.
they're just a consummate haggler. Maybe it was Eric.
It was Eric. He's like, hey, I just got to get it first cheap. But I did get a few games off the virtual flea market. One of them we just played actually is Cubitos with the expansion Foul Play. That is a phenomenally fun game.
I love that game. So, I love that game.
I'm going to talk about the flea market and the auction house the auction area. Unless you got something real quick about the artist stuff, Brian.
No, the artist stuff's pretty straightforward. I was just saying, I'm trying to think of another booth. Most of the booths were pretty normal. Well, yeah,
like unique ones. I mean, not just all the random stuff. Like if you think of something special, bring it up. But otherwise, it's
everything was pretty much par for the course area. The big Clank Dragon was dope. That thing was like 10 foot tall.
Yeah, it was pretty neat. And they had all those foam squares as the little tokens and stuff.
Yeah, so that was fun. But otherwise, everything else is per usual, I guess. Yeah.
So the consignment store, they have an auction as well, but half of it's a consignment store and half of it's an auction. If you do the auction, you get the paddles and all that stuff. You do auctioning. I don't do that. I can't comment on it. I don't know if it's fun. If you like auctions, maybe it's cool. But the consignment store, people put games up for sale. This is, I believe, in the Marriott. Yes, it's in the Marriott on the second floor. So if you go next GenCon, I highly recommend this. It's only Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. They, when somebody puts a game in there, they can choose different prices for each day, and typically it will drop, right? So it must like 55 on Thursday, it's 45 on Friday, and it's, $20 on Saturday because people don't want to take stuff home. Anyway, you can find a lot of good stuff there. Unfortunately, I didn't find a lot of good stuff. But I did find some Legos.
Okay.
Which is, they had these this guy had this Plano box. It's like a really rugged Plano box. It must have been like 2.5 feet wide by it's like a briefcase. Just picture a briefcase. There was 15 of these things. They were $15 a piece, full of Legos. Wow. There's no way you could even buy that many used from Bricks and Minifigs. It was absolutely awesome. We only bought one case though, because it's like somebody's collection. So each case was like themed, like these were all blocks. These are all flat pieces, blah, blah, blah. We bought the random assorted one. That was,
you get the most bang for your buck.
Dude, for that price, because the way Lego prices their stuff is 10 cents a brick. That is like the standard price for it.
Huh.
So
I didn't even know that. That's cool. So
yeah. So if you look at a game,
that's an
and you
expensive
say,
box.
yeah. So if you look at a game that's like, or a game, well, if you look at a Lego set that's got 2,000 pieces, it's probably going to be $200. Unless it's Star Wars, then it'll be $280 because they jumped the price up.
Right.
But on average, if you can use that as your baseline, then you can kind of go, oh, that's a pretty much worth that game. That the Roman Colosseum we have is like 10,000 pieces, but it was only $600. So price per piece was like 6 cents. Yeah. So if you use that math, you can tell if something's like a good deal. Usually 5 to 6 cents. Lego is a weird one, man. It's like, it doesn't decrease in value. We have hundreds of sets. We've even got the D&D, actually that's one I want to play. We have the D&D set. So you build this, I don't know if anyone's seen it, but basically it's a whole D&D with a dragon on top. There's an inn. But the problem is the person who builds it knows where all the hidden stuff is. There's all this hidden stuff.
You actually play a D&D like one-off campaign with it?
It's a 5th edition D&D. I'll have to find it.
Does it come with dice and everything?
Yeah, it comes with dice.
That sounds pretty cool.
The rule book. So as you go through, it'll be like,
this is freaking awesome.
Oh, I'm looking around. There's a potion on the ground. I pick it up. But if you build it, you know all the little traps where you've set all the stuff inside of it.
If you're the dungeon master, then it's fine.
Correct. But it comes with a booklet that has all the rules. I think it's 5th edition. D&D
oh my
is what
God, I'm totally doing this with my kids. This is the best. Like, screw the GenCon.
Have you looked it up? Have you seen the set?
No. Maybe we should do this after the
You'll have to remind me afterwards. I'll take a picture of it because it's rad.
The thing is, once you have that set, you can get the other sets that like are kind of like D&D adjacent, and maybe it's like a mummy's tomb, or it's a I don't know, like a knights and soldiers, and
that's
what I mean. Like,
does it come with like character sheets and stuff
with all that?
Yes.
Dude.
Let me see if I can find it after the podcast. I'll see if I can find it because it's really rad.
That is so cool. So anyway, like we found some Legos. We found like a Settlers of Catan expansion that my wife likes, the Seafarers one. But we found it for the edition that we had, or that we have. Yeah, because I'm not, I could upgrade, but why not? We don't play it that much, so might as well just buy an older one. It's just, ironically, I don't really think Catan on its newer editions has gotten better at the component quality.
No.
It like the box art changed and everything else is still crap.
And even the box art, I'm not.
Well, I mean, it's better than what it used to be.
Okay.
So we bought that. I bought like Magic Maze and some other games from the flea market, or not flea market, but the consignment store. But it is a really cool place to go into if you're looking for a lot of crazy stuff. Typically, I don't find a lot of board games that I'm interested in buying.
Because you already have a sizable collection.
Correct. But what I do find is just weird stuff. Like I'll find old War Machine figures for like $3, like new in the box, which is crazy. I'll find sets of Pokemon cards that are really cheap. It's like 500 cards, $10. Maybe not like that amount of cards, but it was like 150 cards for $10, and it's a lot of Japanese cards or random cards. So like I wouldn't buy it to start a collection, but if you get kids who really are interested in just Pokemon stuff, that was neat. Or the other thing I do look for quite a bit at the consignment store are expansions, which we were talking about earlier in the podcast. You can find all kinds of cool expansions for games because, I guess the clientele for who's going to buy that stuff diminishes over time as the game's out of print. And so they just throw these expansions in there. Maybe some of them are expensive and some of them aren't, but typically if they're expansions, they don't go super quick, I don't think. And so by the time it's like Saturday and it's the last day, you can get really good deals on them.
Yeah.
All right, Brian's got this book. Tell us more about that. What is it called? Dragon's Tale? Red Dragon's Tale.
And that is a Lego book.
Yeah,
wow.
It's a book so Lego, a lot of times when you buy stuff, you can download the PDF or you can trade it some points when you buy Lego stuff. But yeah, it's full on, like, it basically goes to your characters. It goes to it has like stats and stuff for all of the characters you have to fight.
Little mushroom
It has
people.
all of their statistics and all that stuff. Actually,
it's a lizard man Lego.
This is the best thing ever.
It's so
oh my God.
If you
is it still available for purchase?
This is my favorite thing.
Eye of the Beholder Lego.
I know George just saw it.
Now, to be fair, if and actually the people can look it up online. If you go to lego.com and look up D&D, it'll probably be the first thing that comes up. But in our chat, I posted some images for Tim to look at to see how massive it is. It's not a small set. I mean, it's I can't remember how many pieces it is, but I think it's a fairly larger set. I think it's like over 3,000. It's like 3,700 or something. It's been a while since I've looked.
3,745.
Yeah. So you start at the end and you work all the way around, and there's hidden trapdoors and all these weird things. And it's such a brilliantly done idea that we were like, yeah, I'm buying this. I just still haven't played the campaign.
$360. That is the one thing. But I mean, for Legos and all the included extra stuff, that's fantastic.
Think about it. It goes back to my number, 10 cents a brick.
Right.
So if it's 3,700 pieces, it's about 370 is about what it should be. So if it's less than that, then it's a decent deal.
Was this last year? Because it was the 50th anniversary of D&D. I think that was last year.
I think that's correct.
It does say retiring soon.
Very cool.
So
yeah,
if you want to buy it, you better buy it now.
Yeah.
Man. All right.
That's something else.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Two more things to talk about, Brian, before we get into demos and games we play. Do you have anything else you want to talk about?
I'm looking.
All right. Well, I'll talk. Notes. You think.
You go.
So two more things. One, the math trade. So I have, if you've listened to the podcast, I am a big advocate for math trades. If you're not familiar with what they are, prior to a convention, I mean, they do math trades for everything else too, like, out of convention season and stuff too. But a math trade, you go in, you say, I'm putting these 15 games into the math trade. Everybody does that. After that time closes, which is a few weeks or month maybe, or whatever it is, then you have the pool of games and you go through and say, oh, I like that game. I'll trade any of these games that I put up of those 15s for that game, right? It doesn't guarantee anything, but you're saying maybe these 7 games, I'll trade against that one game, or interested in trading. Right. Everybody does that. They make this matrix, right? So you get all your games, and then on the other axis, you have all the games that you selected, and you check all the check boxes on the intersecting lines. Then the algorithm runs after everybody's made their selections. They get a couple weeks or whatever to make their selections. And then it says, okay, here's your games that traded. You're going to go give them to these people. And here's the games you're going to receive from these people. And so a lot of times you're not doing any direct trades at all. It's like, I'm going to get this game from this person, and I'm going to give this game to this person or whatever. And then you meet up on Sunday at usually 8 a.m. at Grand Central Station to do a trade. Everybody goes in, you mark your name off this big sheet, and you kind of write down on this map where you're going to be. So if people are having a problem finding you, they can go to that sheet like it's a little map, like here you are, And
you can have a little sign with your name, like you're at an airport.
Some people have banners.
People get kind of creative with it. I just hold up a giant piece of construction paper that I use a Sharpie to write my name on. It's not, it's visible, it's legible. It's the thing that irritates me is the people who do it on their phone and they just hand their phone up in the air. I'm sorry. At this point, you might as well just hold your badge, dude. Anyway, one of the coolest things is, other than you trade off crap you don't want and you get crap you want, they like these people, like everybody who attends will throw a bunch of promos on this table, right? So here's the thing. If you're not part of the math trade, don't come to the math trade event. Number one, it's ticketed, even though it's free. But don't go here just to take the promos, right? But they'll have a table and they throw all these promos on it. Take what you want, leave promos that you don't care about. So you bring stuff that you maybe can't trade or, haven't been able to sell, and then you just throw it on there. I'm talking hundreds of promos on this table.
I have so many promos that I've collected here and there that I've gotten rid of those games, or I'm never going to get that game. I could do that. I could just bring a pile.
Same here.
If you want, hand that crap to me. I will take it next time and just dump it on this table, because people sit there and look through that for 15 minutes. I mean, it is crazy. I only take stuff that I have been looking for, or stuff that I know people have, like that. Earlier in the podcast, we were talking about, I didn't even know this existed, but for Dream Home, there's a sheet that has, like 12 tokens on it or something. And it's like these pets, and you put these pets on the tiles that you're drafting. And I was like, that's really cool. Like, I know Brian has that and they liked it and they played it with their niece and stuff. So I grabbed that, right? There's a bunch of Mage Wars promos. So I took, a bunch of those. People throw a bunch of 3D printed items. So I took a few for the kids.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah. I mean, it is such a cool idea, because these people can sell these things, but maybe it might take a long time or they don't care, I've never
it's a hassle. Yeah.
I've never saw anything on the table that's like, that's a $50 promo. You know what I mean?
Right.
What about, I've got a lot of like replacement parts where I've got like the metal coins. So I've got the cardboard coins. What if you throw that on there? Like cardboard, like replacement pieces for games.
I guess you could put some replacement pieces on there and people might take it if they want it. Sure. Why not? I mean, they're throwing 3D printed items on there.
Right.
So yeah. One of the funniest 3D printed items was a D20, but all the sides were a 20.
That's awesome.
Oh, that's funny.
That was pretty funny.
That's great.
All right,
I still need to buy a set of the dice that I bought you where the dots aren't in order. They're like offsetted.
No.
it's just annoying.
He's like, no. He's like, no.
Can't do it. Last thing I'll talk about is something that's new to me for GenCon this year, and that is the trinket trading. This is fantastic.
That was a question Mel had, my wife had, about how that works, because we didn't even know about it. But I was like, that's rad, actually.
Okay, so here's how this works. You have to have some kind of identifier. This year, I don't know if they done it in past years, but they sell these trinket trading shirts you can wear. Other people will make like these little banners that they walk around, or they have like a badge, what are the little badge things that you stick the sticker? Oh crap.
Right.
The little flags.
The little banner things.
The banners for your badge. They go on the bottom. They'll say trinket trader.
Okay.
Anyway, you want to make sure somebody knows that you're a trinket trader. So we didn't know about it. And so Thursday we heard about it, and my wife was talking to somebody, and we went to Target that night and bought like these little resin ducks. They're like a 1/2 inch long, like the real small ones. This is a bag of like 50 or 80 of them or something.
Right.
And so every day, we didn't know this either. We were actually going to do a virtual flea market purchase for Cubitos, actually. And we were walking through, and there was like 50 or 60 people in this group outside where the Mech Warrior balloon thing was that actually ended up popping, apparently. So anyway, that thing's been there for years, dude.
I saw it flat.
I hope it's not a
flat
permanent.
On Sunday.
I think maybe the storm got it. We'll get to the storm in a second. So all these people are trading. And so like you go and you give somebody a duck. We were doing it with a 3-year-old. And these people would come up and they open this big briefcase of stuff or a Plano box or whatever. And he would just pick something and give them a duck. and like he did this the entire convention every single day. Except for Sunday, I guess, because he wasn't there. But my wife continued it. So we came home and I took a picture of some of the stuff he got. He got buttons, and my kids got these little GenCon beaded things that people made. Like it's like a little keychain with all these beads that says GenCon, and it has like a dice.
It's like fancy.
People were printing out some 3D printed stuff. Like, I mean, I know this isn't really fun to do on a podcast, but there's one thing that they made. This guy made these little jars. It has all this like murky water in it with glitter, and it has a D20 in it. And it has a USB cable. You plug it in and it glows. This is like he just traded this for a duck.
Wow.
I mean, like people love to do this. So we are going to absolutely partake every year. That was such a cool thing, because you're gonna have to
upgrade your game. Like it has to be more than a duck next time.
Oh, absolutely, man. Well, I said that just for being quick, but we actually did buy some like Spider-Man buttons, and we had some little cars like Lightning McQueen and stuff. We had like little cars. We had a variety of stuff. We didn't just have ducks, but it was easier to talk about. So I guess that kind of ruined that.
Duck, yeah.
Explaining it. Duck, yeah. So the trinket trading was really fun. It's neat to sit there and somebody comes up and be like, hey, you trinket trade? Or you go to a booth and they have like a stuff on the table that says trinket traders. And like they have dice and other things. It was such a cool thing.
You just leave a thing, take a thing. Yeah.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. So that was really cool.
Yeah.
Huh.
All right. Well, we already did a really long podcast. Now let's get to all the games. So you got anything else, Brian, or you want to go to the games?
We could go to the games.
All right. Here's what we're going to do for the safety of time, right? We're not going to explain the games. So if you're interested in one of these games, I mean, we might talk about one mechanism or whatever. We're not going to go deep dive into how these games play.
How many did you play?
I've got like 15 or 20 on my list. So
I have 3 or 4.
Oh, well, okay. So, I'll burn through mine real quick.
Okay, you go first.
We'll jump back and forth because my voice is kind of going out here. So some of these are just demos. Some that actually played the entire game. Others are stuff that we bought and took home or to the Airbnb and played. So it's kind of a mix of stuff, but it is mostly GenCon releases that I'll focus on. But if you want to listen to our more explanations, check out maybe some of our preview video from last episode, or look at somebody else's video on how it plays or whatever. So Brian, start us off with one and we'll jump back and forth.
The Kingdom Come Deliverance, for example. I got a chance to meet with CGE and got to kind of go through a little bit of that. Pavlina is one of the main marketing coordinators with CGE, but she also had a lot to do with the development because she's a huge fan of the game, has played it for a long time. So one of the things they tried to do, coming from a World of Warcraft side, I was interested just because it feels in that realm, you know. But what they were trying to do is be very authentic to the game, converted to a board game, and try to do as much as they can to make that experience similar. So instead of just taking it as an IP and doing whatever, they tried to really nail down a lot of it. It looks really cool. It's a longer game. It's like 2 hours.
I mean, it makes sense, like the adventure board games. And we had talked about this a couple of days ago, but Vlada Chvátil, right? He is one of the designers, right? It's Vlada and Tomáš. But so Vlada did Mage Knight, the board game. And so that adventure style game, he already has a lot of experience doing, and it is phenomenal. So I'm looking forward to this more so than I thought I would. Once I was standing in line at the CGE booth because I thought there was a line, but apparently there wasn't. It was just a line to buy drillers.
Dude, that line, the one that goes outside and went around.
I gotta walk past it and just buy whatever I want.
Every day, it was like that.
Yeah,
it was insane.
I didn't need to stand in this line, but I stood in this line and I got in there and I was standing right next to the table with the Kingdom Come Deliverance prototype stuff. And I was like, man, I'm more excited than I thought I was about this. And then somebody else said, hey, is this the line for drillers? And I was like, and I poked the guy in front of me. I was like, is this only to buy drillers? He's like, yeah, if you want to buy anything else, you go over here. I'm like, crap.
It's nuts.
Funny.
It was crazy because I had a meeting with Pavlina and she showed me drillers and showed me the code names, Critical Role, and then also went through Kingdom Come a little bit. The production quality on that thing is S tier. Even the cubes have this like really cool, intricate detail in them.
Is it like a swirly type of effect?
It's like a swirl, almost like a crest. I'm sure it has to do with the game.
Yeah,
and then all the horses have like a value at the top right, and that means that's how much skill set you have to do to steal them from the stables.
Yeah,
and the artwork is amazing. The only thing different was the coins. The coins are placeholders. They're from actually a different game. The ones that were on the demo.
I don't know
everything
anything
else is pretty close
about this game itself as far as the video game, right? But what I do know about Vlada Chvátil is that all of his games, they're amazing designs, first of all, but second of all, he incorporates all this humor. Is that present or is that not there in this game?
I don't think he does humor in all his games.
No.
But he does in some.
Yeah.
Quite a few.
I will say at least they seem very respectful of the IP and tried to make the conversion. Unlike when we played, the WoW game from Fantasy Flight was World of Warcraft was fun, but it was different. This seems like they're trying to be a little bit more close to the experience.
Okay.
Yeah. One of the games I played that we got was and not spoiler, but full disclosure, this was a review copy from Smirk and Dagger. This is a game called Blorp.
Get Blorp on.
You're building these it's like a Carcassonne tile laying game, but you're building these like monsters. And it looks like just this mush of disgusting organs, basically, but they're monsters. So I thought it was going to be super light, which it is, but it has one mechanism. It has one mechanism that actually makes it pretty unique. And the fact that they have these blurpophones, which looks like these little trumpets. And if you point them to another trumpet, you can continue that blorp, that monster, through another one. So, I'm going to use different terms. If you built a city in Carcassonne and you completed it, it's done. But if it had a megaphone pointing at another city, it could talk to another city, and now it's as big as that city is. So your red blorp can go through an orange blurp, through a green blurp, to another red blurp. But because they all connect together, your red is however many tiles, as long as, even if they're completely separate.
Okay.
And it actually takes this very simple game and adds one layer to it that's super unique, that actually gives it staying power for the depth of game it is. On top of that, there's also the Blitz mode, which basically is like Galaxy Trucker, where you're just grabbing tiles and looking at them and putting them back and stuff. And it's such a cool game for what it is. And the artwork's super cool. If you like really disturbing art, it is pretty disturbing, because there's it's very cartoony, but there's lots of teeth and stuff like that. So
it's sort of like Ren and Stimpy-y kind of like artwork.
That's a good.
It looks like smashed caterpillars or something.
Yeah. If you like the game, a game that kind of reminds me of is called Hideous Abomination from Tactics Games. They do like Deep Regrets. That game is similar, except you're building creatures with like weird arms and heads and like underwear, and it's really just weird, strange artwork. Because Judson's he's an interesting artist. I love his art.
Incredible.
But it kind of reminded me of that. But I was like, dude, it's a really approachable game. And the trumpet part, it adds like, you're like, okay, it's a pretty cool little game though. I like it. Trying to think what else.
You go next.
All right. Did do a little bit of playing of Small Batch, which is the new updated game from Paverson. It's basically distilled in a smaller form, I guess. The designer is, and I cannot remember his name, but it's the one that does Fromage.
So it's not the same designer as Distilled?
It's him taking that concept, and basically it's got like a little river. And it's about 35, 40 minutes, I guess. But they had a play test of it there with some of the cards were still like like in progress. I think it comes out later. It goes to Kickstarter later next year. So it's got a little bit.
James, you really like Fromage. I do too, but you've got it right there. Did you see who was the designer?
No, not on the front of the box.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah, I can't remember his name.
How do they not have it on the front of the box?
I know.
We're in the age of designer board games.
Oh, it's Ben Rossett.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So that was pretty cool. And then we and 5-second answer. We looked at the closer to final version of a Class of '89.
Oh yeah,
which I definitely want to get that one.
Yeah, we're going through the list. Apparently, the designer that's doing all the artwork has a spreadsheet of, here's this character from '80s movie. We're gonna make something close enough to where you think you know what it is. Because one of the Dave's funny. Dave from Paverson, we were talking with everybody else. He was like, there is one, and we looked at it, and he goes, that one right there. And I'm like, oh yeah. He goes, that one we had to change a little bit, so we didn't get sued. But basically, it was a Stranger Things cast.
Yeah.
But the tweaks were perfect, because you were like, if you weren't thinking about it, you'd be like, okay, but you're like, I know who that is. But the fun part about that game will be figuring out who the references were, because there was one on there. He thought it was somebody, and Mel was like, no, that's blah, blah, blah for whatever movie. He's like, are you sure? And I'm like, she pulled it up. He's like, oh, it is that person. Like he doesn't even know all the list yet. But that game's gonna be fun. That is gonna be their first direct to retail game.
Nice.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You mentioned the code names that you had looked at that one. Can we talk about that one? Because I want to know. Is that
this is a Tim, because I got it for review along with Drillers, but I have not played it. But I have all the sheets and stuff for it. So
I didn't put that on my list because we sat down and they kind of ran through the idea of it more like a sales pitch.
I see.
So you probably know already if you've looked up what the game's about and stuff, you pretty much know what I would be saying. You got character sheets, you got health, you get hit by monsters and stuff like that. It basically is an RPG, but the main mechanism is a code names mechanism. It looks cool, but yeah, like it was the first thing we sat down on Thursday, and they explained it to us, but I guess they weren't playing it there. So that was all they did, was like a 2-minute sales pitch.
Right. I have a hard time like picturing myself playing this game and thinking this is fun. Like if all the words are like D&D related, but we're playing code names, I mean, you have full-blown character sheets. Like it is straight up like D&D. Yeah,
So one of the things they do is there's a whole pamphlet that you can get, and what it is, it's all the character sheets, all of the D&D maps, all of the locations as a separate set, so you can actually play it a second time. because it's sort of supposed to be a kind of a full campaign type of thing.
Is there story? Are you telling a story and then playing Codenames as a way of,
I don't know,
resolving things in the story of the game?
You know what, though?
Not a story.
Check out cge.com for more information.
It is a game that we will. I mean, now Brian owns it, so it is a game that we will play. We will get back. Maybe it's a good time for you to drive down to Louisville.
All right,
bam! That's what we're gonna do. Hero Quest. Hey, you know what? Those Hero Quest pads I sold for $9 a piece.
Oh, they gave me like a couple of them.
Yeah, there you go. eBay. That's pretty cheap too, because some people have them for 15.
Oh my gosh.
Funny.
I got a triple game things that I'm talking about here. We went to Kess Games and they had a really cool thing where they had, this is like very old school GenCon style too. They had this sheet and it's like demo these amount of games and then you get to go roll a die in our big blown up dice tower. They had like an inflatable dice tower, but you had to play so many of their games. And so we played 3 games. We played one, it's called One Piece. It's a One Piece game and it's titled Luffy's Bento Panic. And this is a very game where it's 3, 2, 1, point at people, right?
Oh yeah.
But you're only pointing at the people next to you. You can either point a gun, like fingers at them. You can block. You can put your hand up like a shield. So if you think the person next to you is going to try to steal your food, you can put your hand up.
Right.
You can also point at the bag in the middle of the table, which will let you draw coins or tokens from this bag. You're basically all eating dinner and everybody's fighting over food. And so
it's
like
rock, paper, scissors pointing gestures.
To some degree, yeah. And so would I buy it? Probably not, but I had a lot of fun playing it. I just own a few games that already does it. So there's no need to own this one.
That's fair.
Like finger gun bang bang or whatever it's called. I don't remember. That game's really fun.
You tell me about that game.
Yeah. Or Crossing. Crossing is another one. It kind of gives me vibes of, if you ever played Crossing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's very Crossing like. Okay. And so it was a fun game. It was cool to demo it. Another game we played, which George really enjoys apparently, is Ubibo. Basically,
that one's awesome.
Each player has whatever color you are. So blue. There's 5 cards in the deck for you, I think. There's one for each finger on the hand that you're using. And everybody who plays, you put all those cards in, you shuffle them. And so you flip out and it says blue, like say Brian's turn. It says blue ring finger. Brian and I, the whole thing is you have all these shish kebabs that are not pointed so it doesn't hurt. It's flat. Bamboo shish, dowel rods. And you have to place them between your hand and my finger. So like on your finger, you get to pick on yours. So you might do your like finger, your index finger, and I have to hold the other end on my ring finger because you drew the blue card with the ring finger.
Right. So you're putting pressure between the two of you to hold it there.
Yeah. And then you keep going around the table. So your other hand is flipping cards and everybody's got all these sticks and all your hands are in the middle of the table, with your elbow on the table, and you're trying to hold up all these sticks. And if you get all the cards and have all the sticks without dropping them, you win. If you drop them, you lose. You have to try again. Shuffle
the deck. Like Twister with stabby things.
Yeah, basically.
Well, I saw you sent the picture with no context, and I was like, "What is going on here?" Because it looked like those. And I can't remember what they're called. Remember the things back in the day where you did the string with your hand, and you do the cat cradles and stuff.
Cradle,
that's what it looked like at first. Till I realized, there's like little sticks. This is
actual sticks. Did I not explain what it was at all? I suck at texting anymore, basically.
Yeah, it just was picture. Oh, this is fun. Or I don't know, it was something random, and I was like, "What is this?"
Yeah, it is fun though. It is,
dude. My life is like when I have kids around me, it's like 500 miles an hour. So if I try to text in my mind, I put all this information, and I go back and look. It's like that was great. I'm like, I'm a jerk, dude. It's like Brian sends me a paragraph of stuff, and I'm like, cool. It's like I'm actually really excited, but then I don't respond very well because I'm
what you'll do is you'll think in your head of this long response, and you think you responded but never did.
Oh, dude, I've done that so many times.
A message. I'm like, no.
Dude, there's been times when Brian sent me something, I look back, and it's just sitting there. I'm sorry, I'm probably on his end, it probably just says so and so's typing. You know what I mean? Just for like 3 days.
I'm just going to text you a GIF of just the dots, and you'll be like, what is he typing?
The other game we played in that booth, real quick, hang on, is Sonic Knock. This is one that's shortlisted on my preview list. So this is a newer game, although it did come out a few months ago in retail. And it's Sonic. I will tell you this.
I saw this. I wasn't sure what it was.
It's Sonic the Hedgehog at first in its dexterity. So you're flicking these discs. So there's this little arena, and it looks like Sonic. You flip up on you enter the arena from a ramp. So you shoot it off this ramp into the thing. You have a deck of cards, and you flip over the next card for you personally, and it tells you what your next objective is. So it might say, I have to knock the blue player. So if on your turn, you get 2 flicks. So if I touch the blue player with my character's disc, or touch the blue disc with my disc, then I completed that task and I flip over the next one. And you keep going through your deck, and it might be like you have to go through the loop-de-loop, or you may have to land on a specific spot on the board or whatever, like these little areas. And it was freaking awesome. Like
really?
For such a little game that's a dexterity, this thing was great. It plays up to 8 players. It's just chaotic. It is a activity more so than a game. I mean, it is a game, but you can't go into this serious. But dude, some crazy stuff happens. It was a lot of fun. I will be purchasing this.
Yeah. Okay. Huh. I had not expected that. Cool.
There's a Tim, did you see, and I just I put it in our chat because you may have more information on it than I do. There was a Final Fantasy game that a company was making.
Yeah, the Origins of Light or something. Children of Light. I can't remember what it's called. Yeah. I think it's the same actual company that I'm talking about. Kess?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was in one of their glass cases. I took some pictures of it because I was like, oh, this looks cool. I liked it. It was like, it felt super retro. Like it looked like the game, but
it's based off the very first Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
It makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you spell Kess though?
Kess.
Okay.
Another game.
Origins of Light, not Children of Light. Yeah.
Oh, I'm trying to remember if Children's of Light something else. What else did I get? Oh yeah. And because, everyone's so excited about it, I did buy some of the shelfie stuff, but I only bought like a couple of them because I wanted to see what their scale was. But they use a weird, I think it's like a 1/8 scale. Like Barbie stuff is 1/6, and that's what mini brand stuff is.
Okay.
I have a lot of miniature stuff. Like I just like, but anyway, yeah, the whatever printer they're using is insanely sharp. Like if you zoom in on the back, you can actually read what the back of the box is. And so it's crazy. I don't know. I just thought it was neat. But I did get some of the games I own.
I did stop by the booth, and let me tell you one thing I didn't like. I liked, but I didn't like, right? They're random, but they were selling it for $90. Well, no, sorry. It's $90 to get the shelfie box with the calyx and the ones that came in it, and then a brick of the boosters, but you're guaranteed everything.
Yeah.
And so that tells me that the boxes aren't truly random. It's just the case has so many configurations, but if you buy the case, you have everything.
So the individuals are random, but the ones that they put together specifically for that are specifically one of everything.
Like for the convention?
Mm-hmm. Because I think so. Because I bought 3 boosters and I only got one. I got one duplicate.
Thankfully, my wife talked me out of this, and I was so gung-ho. I was going to buy the whole $90 thing. And she's like, what do I want to do with this? And then I thought about it. I was like, but I like the calyx. You can 3D print it. I was like, oh, God.
But what I needed a couple of them to figure out how they were making, because they're like hard PVC squares, and then the stuff is wrapped around them. So they have a lot of weight to them. And now I know what scale they're doing. So if I want to make my own games, I can print, like I can replicate it.
I'm gonna be disappointed if they don't make tiny mountain goats for this.
Like really
could be like this big.
Yeah. The little gum pack games.
I mean, to be fair, I'm bad about buying. I have the mini brands, both the vinyl one from Miniverse and Mini Brands. I have the mini vinyls and stuff, just because I like miniature stuff.
Well, I want to see it now. Somebody's got to light these shelves up with little puck lights on the inside of the squares.
You could probably take fairy lights and drill holes in the tops and do it that way. One of the other games that we did demo was and George will be happy, is a Carl von Linné.
Yeah,
dude, that is it's basically a new game from Capstone, and it's Michael Pikel, I think is his name. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Pickle.
He was actually our teacher. So
what's
funny is he is the illustrator for Galileo Galilei, but in this game he's the designer, but he also influenced art and design in both games. So he was our teacher. So we went through him and one of the other guys from Pink Troubadour or whatever was on our table, and then dude, a super rad game. It's if anybody's played Galileo Galilei, it's like a much more complex variant of that game. On your turn, the short answer is like there's so many ways to gain points, which is what I like. Like you can go over here and collect the fauna and stuff. You can go over here and go up the library track. You have other cards where you send ships around and collect different resources. But on your turn, basically you basically have a lens, kind of like in Galileo. Basically, you pick it in a spot, and it's either 1, 2, or 3x of that action will happen. So if you put it in the third one, at the end of the round, it goes in a locked little book, and you can't use it for the next round. So that way the third one is the strongest of that. But then as you have a little wheel you go around, you can upgrade your lenses to the gold side, which is or to a gold version of it. But at some point you have too many, and you have to discard one, which you have a pile, and you get bonus points every time you go back around and upgrade. But man, it is a it is a brilliant game. Like it is so good. It's going to be released at Spiel Essen in October and has an early November US release date, I think is what they're shooting at as of right now. But man, I'm just telling you, it is such a wonderfully designed game. And
I agree.
It's designed on purpose to live in the same world as Galileo. So if you put them together, you're like, oh, it feels like a similar game, but that was on purpose.
I didn't know that. I didn't get that feeling, but okay.
If you look at the artwork on the boxes and you look at the way it's designed, the art is like your character panels you have, and then compare it to the stuff in Galileo, it's very, very, very similar.
The art, yeah, that's true, yeah.
The art was designed that way, but man, it is a phenomenal game. So we didn't get through it. We got through 3.5 rounds of the 5.
That's cool.
It was a special little media. It was like a media only event over at the museum, which was kind of cool. So over there where I think the Marriott off the right of it, I think there's a Indiana State Museum, and it was in there, which was kind of cool.
Well, the end game is not disappointing. The whole game is good.
Yeah, whole game is super rad.
I don't get to play a lot of long games at GenCon, which I don't know if I'd want to anyway, but I do get to play a lot of kids games and family style games. There's 2 from Mattel that we played that was kind of interesting. One, it's called Swing Shot Tower, not sling, but SWING. You know that little wooden tower that's at bars where you take the ring on a rope and you drop it and it connects?
Yeah.
Try to hook it.
Yeah, picture this, but the middle is like a cylinder, and it has all these pegs. And so you fling the ring around it, and it tornadoes around this thing and wraps the string around. It gets closer and closer, and it might click into one of those, or go into one of those pegs.
That's cool.
If it happens, you get to take the peg out of the stand. And so then you keep going. I don't know what the actual rules are, but we played it a bunch just because it's fun, you know? Yeah. And I really debated on buying it, and I wish I kind of would have, but we didn't. So I look forward to finding it in a store. It was only $15, but that was kind of a neat game. They also had another game that I looked at and I was like, this sounds cool. It's called Deep Sea Diamond Dive. Picture like a hexagon stop sign looking thing that's blue, and it has all these cylinders on it, and the gem is glued to the top of it on each of the cylinders. So you're looking down at a bunch of like gems, but they're up on these cylinders.
Yeah.
So you have this card in front of you that's a ship or like whatever. You're trying to fill it up with those diamonds. You reach in on your turn to grab one of these cylinders, and then you can put it on your ship. But here's the thing. A lot of these are glued to the board, and a lot of these are freestanding. And so on your turn, if you reach in and grab one and it moves, you get to keep it. But if it doesn't, your turn's over. And so you're like, there's no way that one's not real. And you're like, oh my God, what is it? It was fake. It's like fake diamonds and real diamonds, basically.
That's great.
And
that's interesting.
It was a crap game, but the idea is really cool because it just had some stupid rules to it, and that kind of killed it. The idea of what you're doing is fun. It's a cool activity for kids and stuff. Number one, you get to keep going as long as you take one. So really somebody could win on their turn. The other thing is there's these 3, let's just call them treasure chest cards. I don't know what they're called, but there's 3 to pick from. And so when you grab diamonds, you start putting them on that card. And if it fills up, you keep it. But one of them is like take a card from somebody. So you can literally take a card from somebody that's filled. It's like that, take that crap.
Yeah.
Honestly, if it was developed more by gamers and not Mattel, it could be a really wonderful game. But as it stands right now, it's a really cool concept with what seems to be crappy rules. But I will grant this, that maybe the guy teaching it was doing a demo and didn't teach all the rules, you know, or maybe something was a little bit different in the book, or there's an advanced version, stuff like that. So I need to do some research, but it is a neat concept because you're like, I'm for sure that one's real. And you go to pick it up and it's like moves the whole board, you know, you're like, dang it.
So is there a way to reset it? So like if you memorized everything, which ones were fine? You
have them all on there. Everybody closes their eyes, even the person who and grabs it and shakes it a little bit to move all the stuff around.
And just spin it around a bit.
Yeah. Or spin it once. Yeah. So you
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That sounds cool. I mean, it's a neat concept, like you said.
Yeah. I have a game that's similar to that. It's a box of French fries, and then you reach in and grab a fry to pull out, but one of them is attached to the bottom. And if you grab that one, it like pops the bottom and all the fries fly everywhere.
That's fun.
That is fun.
Brian, you got any more you want to talk about? Or you want me to burn through the rest?
You can do a few more. It's totally fun.
All right. Sorry. We did get to go and talk to the designer. I think his name's Carl, for Wobbly Life. My kids were very excited. I was very excited. This is a video game it's really an interesting game because you run around. Basically, it's like stick figures essentially, but they're not. They're actually 3D models. But the game graphics are crappy on purpose, I think. It's a very bland looking game.
Oh, this is the one you were talking about. Okay.
Yeah.
I remember this.
So we played the crap out of this. The way you play it on the computer game is like you hold down the trigger buttons to do your arms. And so it's very awkward on purpose. Yeah. So you run around like, you got to pass things to each other, but you're like removing your arm out, and then you grab the other person by the body and you fling them around. You're like, dude, no, grab the thing. You know, it's a silly game. It's really good. There's a lot to do in it. It reminds me of, it looks like old school Mario 64, but like made today, you know, like that kind of graphics, you know, it's like just kind of bland looking.
Yeah.
But dude, it is so much fun. It is hard. There is a lot of quests in that game that are tremendously hard and tedious because it's like, go get these artifacts, put them on the helicopter and bring them back to the museum. All right. The helicopter does not have doors that close. So if you're flying around and you tilt, like your artifact just goes flying and it goes into the ocean, you're like, oh my God, dude, it is so frustrating. Anyway, the board game takes all these mini games and makes it a game to where like you move around on the map and you do a mini game, and it's like, I don't remember if it's like so many rounds and then whoever has the most money wins. I think that is it. But the mini
games like dexterity?
It is a amalgamation or whatever the word is. It's a combination of all kinds of stuff. Every mini game is completely different. So there's like a racetrack mini game that we got to play. It's basically a sprint from one side of this little mini board to the other side. And when everybody gets dice, like 2 dice, and you roll, and you can either add them together or use one of them. So if you roll a 1 and a 3, that means you can move to a space that's adjacent to you if it's a 1, 3, or a 4, because you can do the 1 or 3 or add it together to do the 4.
Yeah.
And so like every space that you're on is adjacent to spaces that has like, 2 different numbers or whatever. So there's not a lot of options, right? But it's real time. So everybody gets these dice and you're like, roll, move, you know? But then like to do the mining quest, you have this like 3D little cardboard mining thing that has layers, and you put these little gems on it, and you have this little pickaxe and you hit it and trying to knock the gems off on the table.
Okay.
And each time you do it, you only get to take 1. So if you hit it really hard and all the gems fall off, sure, you get your choice, but you only get 1. And you could do this, I think, 3 times. So you want to try to get like the best gem you want each time, you know? So it's got a little bit of strategy and dexterity to it. And there's other games like fishing. It's kind of like a pressure luck thing because you're rolling the dice and this fish is coming towards you on this track or going away from you. And it's just a Mario Party board game
Okay. So you really liked it, or
I thought it was really cool. I think it actually would be fun to play with adults.
Yeah.
Based on the mini games, it seems to be, it's simple enough for kids, but it's definitely family weight. So it's not going to be like mind blowing or anything, but it has so much cool atmosphere to it, especially if you're into the wobbly.
I think I was at the hotel and was talking to you about it because you were super excited because I think the guy was telling you about the origins of it or something.
Oh yeah, the dude. So the designer actually loved it. So check this out, right? He basically played Wobbly Life with his kids, and he's played it a whole lot. Like he's put a lot of time into this game. The designer's name is Carl Julik. There's actually two designers. There's Adrian Demescu as well, but Carl is the one I was talking to, and he said he was playing this game a lot. And he goes, you know what? He also does is for Grand Gamers Guild. He does illustrations for them, and so if I remember correctly, he said this could be a board game for sure. It'd just be like a party game, and it'd be really fun, right? So he emailed them, told him who he was, and within 10 hours, he had the license.
Wow.
For this game that has sold millions of copies. I'm not even joking. Like Unspeakable and some of these other YouTubers, like kid YouTubers that are massive, are streaming this like to people who play Minecraft. Like there's millions and millions of people who have this game playing it, and he just gets the license in 10 hours. They're like, yeah, that sounds awesome, dude. And so, dude, I was really excited that he is a fan of the game, and he's not like, no offense to Grand Gamers Guild or anybody else, but it's easy for a company to like, hey, can we publish a game with your IP? Cool. We're going to find a designer to design it. In this case, it came around the other way where it's like a passionate person who's interested in the IP gets the license and wants to bring it to life. And that is fantastic.
That was the part of the story I thought was hilarious. I was like, how often does that happen? Never.
Oh yeah, dude, it was so cool. And Carl actually emailed me yesterday, and we're going to have him on the podcast. That's going to be a fun conversation. He was telling me about some of the expansions they've already designed and are looking forward to implementing. So we've already backed the game. It's coming to, I think it's pre-order. The one stipulation they said is they don't want to use crowdfunding.
Okay.
Like you can have a license, but it comes to retail. And so you can pre-order the game now. Just look it up on grandgamersguild.com or whatever. Any more, Brian? Or you want me to just burn through these? Because we're getting a little lengthy on this one.
Oh, you can burn through, and then I can give the interesting Saturday.
All right, the weather update. All right, so a couple more games. We did get to play Marvelous. This is a game I talked about last GenCon. It's a little potion explosion style game. We played that in the Cosmos Family Games demo thing. That was really cool. And my son said that it's in his favorite games of all time. So I was like, holy crap, I guess we're going to buy it.
That's funny.
Look up Marvelous. You basically just draft a card, and you can orient it how you want and drop your marbles in this little grid that you have. And then they can explode. And then if you explode them, you look at this grid of cards off to the side. And if you have 4 blues, right, you look at the blue and then 4, and then whatever card is there, that's how many points you get. And so you take that card, and then the point cards drop down. And so like you're trying to set up for these combos, but even though you can do a 5 blue, it might be beneficial for you to do 3 blue because it's worth more points at that time. So it's super family, super easy, light, but it is good. We played Foxgrove. This is a Queen game that came out at GenCon. This was on the preview list. It is a trick-taking game, but if you don't win tricks, you can move up on these tracks and stuff. You play effectively like you get all these cards and you play all those cards out, and then you do that 3 times. We played it like 1/3 of the game. I thought it was pretty good, and we were like, yeah, maybe we should buy it. It's this little slim box, kind of like the people on the podcast or listen to the podcast won't see this, but the Creature Caravan Wanderers expansion, that's how big it is, right? It's like, it's, half the size of a Ticket to Ride, but also half the depth. So it's a really small box, and they wanted $40. And I was like, nah, that's cool. I'm good. $40 for that is wild to me, considering what it comes with. So maybe I'll get that later. Lastly, the only other 3 games I have, I'm going to mention them because they are seemingly, I think they're all 3 mostly Gen Con releases. Some of them might have came out within the last couple months before GenCon, but they're, the biggest thing or the next big thing was GenCon. So they came out, they were on the preview list is what I'm saying. We played these games. We played Devious. That was fun. Basically it's, you don't want to have more than one copy of any card. And what's neat is you get 3 cards, you stack them how you want, and then you're passing them to the player on your left or right, depending on the card that tells you which way to pass. And you have to, then everybody goes, all right, first card. And you look at your first card. Do you want to keep it? Cool. If you do, you get rid of the other 2 cards without looking what they were. But you're like, well, maybe Tim saw my stuff in front of me because everything's open information on what you've got already. So maybe he buried the good card down. So I'm going to discard that. But I knew you would think that. So I decided not to and put the best card on top. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's that kind of thing. It was really good. It's really good. And you only play with 6 of the fairies, and there's like 13 in the box. Yeah. So the amount of combinations that you can play is a lot.
That's very similar to another game that came out, I believe, well, just before GenCon, and it's Honeypot. The mechanism is the same. Yeah.
This also, it actually is a re-implementation of a game called Finkel, I think it was called. Let me go to the Devious page. Re-implements, Fickle. It's Fickle. And that game came out in 2019. So it has been around. They redid some of the art and I think a couple of wording changes and stuff, but ultimately I think it's exactly the same game. It's just a re-implementation of it.
Okay.
We played Goats and Goblins. This is one that shortlisted my thing, and I played it at CharCon. It started off, I was like, oh man, I don't know. Did I just waste my money? And then quickly was like table flipping awesome. It was just such a chaotic game. Have you played that, James? You're shaking.
Yeah, I played it at Origins, demoed it. It was pretty fun.
Dude, it is ink and gold with hatred.
Right. Exactly. It's pretty fun.
It basically, the cave leader says, I'm going to flip 7 cards. And everybody else puts a token down that says, I'm in or out. And if you're in, then they flip 7 cards. And if they get a cave-in, like cave-ins are worth 1, 2, or 3 points. If you get 3 points of cave-ins, they bust. But otherwise, they don't bust. And then that cave-in or cave leader distributes the treasure cards to the people that were in, however they want. If it breaks or if they bust, then all the other players who were out get to, in turn order, take one of the treasure cards. Here's the crazy part. You have all these cards that were like, you flip over 7, you're like, yes, we didn't cave in, but we only got 1 point of cave in. And somebody be like, wait, I'm going to play push 2, flip 2 more cards. And you're like, oh, well, I'm going to counterspell that, which is not called counterspell, but basically it cancels the effect. And somebody's like, oh yeah, well, I'm going to push 3. And you're like, oh my God, you pushed 3. And it's just like this insane, like, yes, and like, there's like 15 cards out there. You get super lucky. And then somebody's like, oh man, all right, anybody got any more pushes so we can bust them? And they're like, no. And then I play a card. It says everybody reverses their vote. So everybody flips their votes over, and now the people who are out are actually splitting all those 15 cards. Dude,
my gosh.
It is a wild party game. If you like ink and gold, but you want it to be a little bit more crazy and chaotic, it is really, really fun.
I played that.
It was pretty fun.
Yeah, I played that at BA Games last GenCon.
Did they have it? Was it out then, or was that?
It wasn't out for buy. It was out for. They were demoing it. Okay. So we were playing through it, and I was like, it's interesting because it was itty bitty box, but the box is really small. So
yeah, it's just a deck of cards basically. It was really cool. And even though we just played this last night, this is a GenCon release as far as I know. It was released. It doesn't say.
I think Origins actually.
Yeah, I think Origins had it for sale.
Oh, well, sorry. I was getting ready to preference the next game.
Oh, okay.
This is the final game I'm going to talk about. This blew my mind because Eric was telling me about it. It's called Dino Racer. It's a little card game. Do you know about this?
Nope.
George?
No.
Okay. It's called Dino Racer. And basically it's just cards. You put out these little track, right, of cards. And then you put these dinosaurs under the first card. And they always are in the same order, like blue, red, yellow, green, purple, or whatever. There's 5 of them. And then you shuffle the deck and you start flipping them out. You say, the first race lasts 7 cards. The second one's 8 and then 9. So you flip over 9 checkpoint cards that they're moving through, right? So you flip out these cards and it says, all right, blue moves up 1, red moves up 2 or 1. so you flip over 7 cards, and that's the dinosaurs that move. And each dinosaur has odds to it. So like the T-Rex is the top card. He has the most cards in the deck, but he's also worth the least amount of points. Whereas the purple or whatever it is, the very bottom, the 5th one, is worth a lot of points, but that card hardly comes out. Once the dinosaurs have moved past a checkpoint, so like say like the second checkpoint card, all the dinosaurs have made it to or passed, you flip it over and it does something like it might say like, okay, blue moves back a space or purple moves up to space. So it's very similar to games like Hot Streak or Ready, Set, Bet, where like the game just kind of plays and everybody is looking. Here's the thing that makes it like, I was like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Here's the thing that makes it crazy. At the end of after those 7 cards are flipped out, right? Then you pass those 7 cards around, and each player takes a card and keeps it in front of them like a stock, right? So that's who you think is going to bid. So like if if you get these 3 cards, red, purple, and yellow, if I keep the red one, then I'm saying that if in this race, if red wins, I'm going to get 4 points. If it comes in second, I get 2. If it comes in third, I get 1. So you pass all these cards around. The last card that doesn't get picked will also move that dinosaur 1 more space. And then you go again. You keep flipping out new cards, and the dinosaurs move and move and move until one dinosaur gets to the end, and then you immediately stop, and then everybody's cards that are in front of them scores based on the position of that dinosaur. And then that's you reset everything. You add 1 more space to the racetrack, and you do that 3 times. I will tell you, this is one of the most fun games in this atmosphere that I've had. I like it better than Hot Streak. First off, I didn't even like it. Let's just put it that way. I didn't think it was that interesting. I didn't like Ready, Set, Bet. This game I love, and I will probably end up picking it up. Like it was a lot of fun, and you're not even doing anything. It's just the fact that you pass those cards around and you get to, it's really like card odds at that, because you play through the whole deck. And so now you're like, okay, in the first race, red moved up a lot. It's very unlikely that red's going to move up. So I'm not going to take that 1 red card that came. So there's a little bit of like, I wouldn't say card counting, but card counting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
It was it was an interesting game. It caught me by surprise.
Nice. Oh, 2 other games I forgot about was I did get a chance to preview that Uwe Rosenberg game at the Gates of Liang or whatever it is.
The reprinting of it.
The reprinting of it, yeah. With all the artwork is Vincent Durant doing all the artwork for it. The main difference is there's a co-op mode. That's the newest thing. That's the only main thing I think they added. A couple clarifications. It's mainly an art upgrade, and then has a co-op to it.
Okay.
And then I did get a chance to look at Everdell Journeys a little bit.
What did you think?
So it's very, very different than normal. So basically what you have is you get your 5 little fire, and there's a center board, and you're left and right of it. And based on your turn, you're going to play a card. It's 5 rounds, and it's sort of like if you took Questline that we kind of did a little talking about before, but made it a lot more complicated. So on your turn, you have a little character and you put it down, and you're trying to, like, as you're moving it across, there's an order in what you're doing, but it'll say go here. Well, now on this one, I get so many points if the cards I've passed through before had these icons on it, but you're going through it, but you can rearrange cards you haven't gone to. So if the terrain equals the same terrain you have, you're fine. But if it's different, you got to pay whatever the cost is plus 1 to be able to access that terrain. And you're scoring as you're going. So the game scores, that's what that center scoring track is. And then there's like interesting things. If you can go around this one circle thing, you can then get these bonus little cards. I think they're like some kind of a music note type of card that have extra scoring on it. Okay. By the end, you can have at max 15. But you might not even be able to go through the whole thing. But you may have certain cards that have like I think they're called legendary cards, where they're kind of a gold, but they have like in-game scoring. And some of them might be, I have more of these than my opponent or whatever. So it's a much different style of game. It's in the universe, but it's more of like, I'm trying to think of another game. Tim, you'll probably know other games that are similar to that, but as you go across, you're doing your scoring, and you have a 15 card journey that you're going through, and
like
each
tableau.
time you're like, yeah, you have a tableau, but your guy goes across and then down and then down. And so you might go, oh, you know what? I'm going to put these cards here with the intent of switching these 5 around before I get there to maximize how far I can go across. Or you can rest and then reburn your little fire token so you can actually journey further. But there's a lot of weird interactions and a lot of like thinking about, oh, I need to do this. I'm trying to collect these, and this is a wild, but I can do this. And there's other side. And then you have these little tomes that you collect. It might be like, if you've got 5 of this particular icon, now you get 4 victory points. You turn it in, get another one out of the bag randomly. So it definitely is a very different style of game for them. But it is
sounds
cool.
Intriguing. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's all like story, like underneath of it, there's a story of what's going on. So there is a little of that. You can ignore it if you want, but it's a really pretty game, but it's also a little different. I couldn't think of another game like that. I'm sure you guys may have seen a game that's in
I'd
that
have to look
ballpark.
more deeper into it to see what you're talking about, but
it does sound questline. It sounds a little Tirn and Og.
My only concern was they're calling it Everdell Journeys, which could trip people up thinking it's an expansion. Like all their games are Everdell. Like we get it, guys. Everdell did well for you, but you're definitely piggybacking off the same name. I'm not saying their games aren't good. I'm just saying like,
I don't mind this one so much. The problem I had before is all their Everdells it's Everdell.
Yeah, it's Everdell
with little tweaks or push your luck. This is literally. It should
maybe
say
this one should have
Journeys.
been called Journeys and Everdell.
Everdell, an Everdell something.
Is that what it's
other.
actually called? Or is it Everdell Journeys?
I think it's called Everdell. Let me look it up. I think it is Everdell Journeys.
Because like, for instance, Thunderworks has the world of Ulos, and they have all these games that take place in that world, but it's not like role player, World of Ulos, role player, Questline, role player, Stone Spine Architects.
Right.
It just gets kind of.
Yeah. Now, when they did the branding, is Everdell is really little. Journeys is the main part of the token. So I get what you're saying.
Basically it said new movie designed by the guy who designed, filmed by. Yeah, I get it.
If you like Michael Bay.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. No, it was pretty cool. It was definitely much different than I was anticipating. I was thinking it'd be the same, but it's vastly, it's very different. Yeah, it's really cool. I was kind of surprised, actually.
I'm not interested.
There's one thing we're going to talk about. The last thing we're going to talk about, because we're way over time here.
Yeah.
GenCon went great. Everything went great. It was such a great convention. I have no complaints. I think it was just it's my favorite convention that I go to. One thing I was telling you all about right before we started, and I said, well, I'll just do it on the podcast, was I got my die that you get, for the crystal cast or whatever. And I put it in my case. I have this dice case that's a shadow box. And I have one just for Gen Con dice, and I have one for all my other convention dice. And I stuck the die in there. And I was like, man, dude, I got 6, 12, 18. I got 26 more slots. And I was like, that's dope. I can't wait to fill this up. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. This is a death timer. Because when this thing is full, I'm going to be 70. I actually don't know if I want to continue to do this, because now
You're not going to die at 70, man.
I'm not going to die, but I'm saying as I start filling in these holes, my life is becoming I'm getting older and older and older, dude. I'm just it's like a calendar of years.
I'll just roll you around. I mean,
you know what I mean? I almost need to put other dice in here and just kind of move things. I don't know. It was just kind of a weird, morbid, dark humor. Because I'm like, there's another year off it's like a check mark of my life going away as I fill these little holes. But
one thing I kind of wish they would have done a little cleaner was, here's all the designers and here's all the authors and here's all the well-knowns and where they're going to be and when they're going to be. For example, I didn't know that Timothy Zahn was even going to be there.
Who are we talking about?
He is the author that wrote basically all of the Star Wars expanded universe stuff. Everything, all the stuff is now he was actually there signing.
Yeah, but was it in the was that in the booklet?
No. And he got added, but he was only there an hour, but he was in the author's area. And he's 70 years old now, but it's oh man, he was signed, and he is everything he's written now has become canon for Star Wars. So it's but that's stuff dope. Like that, there's not really a list anywhere that said, here's everybody, here's when they're going to be,
Yeah, that's a shame.
If you wanted to sign, because I'm used to it from the horror cons and stuff. I know exactly when people are going to be there, who's going to be there. And that would be a cool thing to do just because I like to get signatures from people and meet that kind of, that would be fun.
Yeah. All right. We're 2:40 in. So Brian, tell us the weather report and then we're going to wrap this up.
All right.
Everything went, so what I was saying though, is everything went great except.
But it was funny because I think, Tim, you've been, how many Gen Cons?
23.
Wow.
Out of all of them, how many times has it rained? Like 4?
4. Like it never rains.
One thing also about Gen Con,
and how many times has it rained inside the building?
So check this out. So what was funny is because what I like about Gen Con is they also carpet all the flooring. So that also deadens the sound. So you got people talking. It's kind of a deader noise. So we're in there and you hear some stuff. It sounds like people talking. And then this voice comes over. We are now under it. It was timeline short version, basically a little bit before 5. There's a big crazy low pressure system. There's like wind and stuff. We're inside. We couldn't hear it. At 5:11, it was just downpouring. We didn't even know that was going on. We're just like, well, I'm just shopping. At 5:24, a tornado warning comes over the entire intercom and repeats 27 times or whatever. So we're like, all right. So it's like, please go to the interior of the building. Blah, blah, blah. I have a recording of it. So then we leave the vendor hall and go over to the main hallway. And then we're just chilling there till probably about 5:30. And then Jillian, our friend that came down from Fisher's, is like, by the way, it's raining in the play hall. So come to find out, at 5:20, 3 miles south of where we were, an EF0 tornado tore across the street, tore a bunch of trees down, did a bunch of damage, 3 miles from the convention center. That's what triggered the tornado warning.
Wow.
In 2.5 hours, 3.6 inches of rain fell right where the convention center was, which is, for people that don't know, that is over a month of rain for Indianapolis in 2 hours.
Wow.
So the systems couldn't handle it.
Flat.
Yeah, the roof is flat. So you basically have a pool on your roof. The Tycoon booth, it started raining down from the ceiling. And they had said they only had 1 or 2 games to damage. Everything else was fine. So that happened. The Omni, their mezzanine flooded. It broke through, and there's rain coming on all the carpets. It did so much damage. Some of the parking garages were flooded. I have a picture of Illinois Street, which is down the street. It looked like somebody were driving through a lake.
The next day they had a bunch of news broadcast stuff and talking about the flooding, and people were on their boats.
Dude, and then
they blew up boats that you put in them, you're in a lake or you put in your pool.
Yeah.
They're swimming.
The part that kind of sucked was the block party and where the food trucks are. It did an ungodly amount of damage. It tore down. They basically had to cancel. I don't think they even did it on Sunday. I think they had to completely cancel it.
Yeah.
Some
of the food trucks I think were still there on Sunday if I remember, but the actual
but it did an ungodly amount of damage, and that's probably where the mech guy got damaged from that too. But and of course, being inside, you can't hear anything. It just sounds fine. We're just and half the people were like, I don't care, I'm gaming.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm gonna die happy.
I'm gonna die happy. I'm getting
doing what I love. We're doing what I love.
Doing what I love. But yeah, it was definitely an experience. I will say that much. But yeah, it was trippy. But yeah, if you look online, you'll see so much damage. But yeah, they were the streets were completely flooded, and it was just we didn't even know what was going on because you can't hear anything from the inside.
Pipes burst inside the convention center. It looked like a movie scene where just a flood of water comes in.
Because the drainage pipes were so inundated, it snapped the thing. It was just pouring out everywhere.
It was so. Yeah. I feel bad for the convention center. That sucks.
And that was in the tornado shelter area where you're supposed to actually go.
You're right.
That's where it was pouring.
Yeah. I mean, dude,
it couldn't have happened to a nicer booth. The Tycoon, those guys are great.
Those guys are super nice. But it was just trippy.
Yeah, thankfully a lot of the rain damage happened in the play hall, not necessarily in the vendor hall.
Dude, if it was in the vendor hall, that would have been catastrophic.
Awful. Right. Because Sunday might have been canceled if that happened. Or at least the vendor hall. That would have sucked.
Oh man.
At least, because it just kept spinning around, but it was man, it was trippy. But then the next day you look, you're you wouldn't even know anything happened.
I wouldn't even know what happened. That's crazy.
Yep.
All right. Well, we're going to wrap this one up. Do you have one final thought, Brian? Convention, good? Yay? Positive? Thumbs up? Thumbs up.
Positive. I'm considering going to PAX Unplugged.
Ooh,
yeah, that'd be cool.
It'd be December because this is public knowledge now, but a friend of mine, if you know there's a musical called Hadestown, and it basically is based on the Neil Gaiman Sandman from the second series. And it's been going on since 2019, I think. It's like Tony Award winning and everything. Well, one of our friends that we play board games with, his name's Keiko, he got cast as the lead.
Yeah.
And it's on Broadway.
Nice.
So we're timing it to where, and he's going to get us back. He's a phenomenal guy. He deserves everything. But I realized PAX Unplugged is December 4th to 6th. So, and it's in Philadelphia. So what we're trying to do is stay in like New Jersey, Newark, and then just go to his show.
Yeah, I do both at the same time.
And then go down because it's only an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Because I can handle a day of convention. I think my foot is not handling like long ones for a little bit, but yeah, it'd be interesting to see because it's in the Origins-ish type of size.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, con good.
Cool, yeah.
I will say at least the hygiene was a lot better this year than some of the prior years, but there's still some.
You didn't go to the RPG booth.
That's why. That's actually
the
why.
Second floor. Yeah.
Oh, I was like, that's why the other stuff's in the stadium.
Yeah. If I remember correctly, I think Axe body spray was there one.
Yeah, that's what you said. That would have been the funniest.
So
that would have given me a headache. My God.
We want to thank you again for tuning into episode 168 of the MeepleCore Gaming Podcast. This episode was recorded on August 8th, 2026. Thank you for listening to it. I hope you enjoyed our GenCon rebuttal. Is that what we're calling it? I should title it that. Anyway,
the harsh truth of GenCon.
Yeah, the real truth of GenCon. Send us questions and comments to meeplecore@gmail.com. Follow MeepleCore on your favorite social media platforms and on YouTube. And until next time, this is Tim Jennette, the Metal Meeple.
George Breden.
James GenCamp Fitzgerald.
Brian Jennette.
Keep on rocking and rolling dice.